Trollord Games. Join the Trollord Games. Join.
All right. Welcome back, finally, to the Pools of Narrheit. We are back from our 2-week hiatus, and I am Sam, your castle keeper for the evening, and so let's have everyone introduce themselves. Let's start with Robert.
Well, that's new. Yeah, I'm Robert playing Reckmit, Sourbeard, Dwarven Runemark, I think. Yeah, that's it.
And Matt.
I think we're still says starting soon on the Twitch. Oh, there it goes.
No, it's
big
just there's a
delay.
lag.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Matt. I'm going to be playing Xenolesimus Faye, who is a monk, human monk.
And Richard.
Hi, I'm Richard Clayton. I'll be playing Maul, a elf mist thief.
And George.
I'm George, but that's not important. I'll be playing Elgar, the Divine Knight.
Excellent. And last but not least, Chris.
Evening, everyone. I'm Chris. I'll be playing Grimble Outborn, who is a Dwarven warrior priest.
And Alex would be with us, but he has a work event tonight, so he is missing this session, which is a little bit apropos because he walked into a mural seemingly into possibly another dimension. The problem, though, is that Grimble followed him, so... yeah, so who wants to do a quick recap, if anybody remembers? I know we took a 2-week hiatus, so it's a little bit hard to keep track of everything that happened. What do you remember?
Wants to give it a try.
Nothing. Nobody remembers anything.
I was gone for 2 weeks, so I remember nothing.
Oh, that's
Yes,
Well, I guess. Go ahead.
Go ahead, Richard. If you want to go for it, I'll let you go and fill in what I remember.
This is the best I can remember. Is we started off in we had kind of gone opposite directions out of the room with the Naga, and you guys eventually caught back up with me. And after some negotiation, I let you into the room that I had secured. And we did a little looking around in there, maybe found some stuff. Can't remember much in there, but we did kind of poke around in it a bit. And then we went into an adjoining room, and in there found some type of invisible creature, and then sort of left that room since we couldn't really deal with it, and we felt that was the safest route. We followed back.
That was an orbit. I'm showing it on the screen right now. That is an aired specific creature called an orbit, which is a magical siphoning type of creature who is sort of transparent, translucent until it uncoils itself and attacks. But the party was smart enough to notice some weirdness on the floor and did not walk under it. Anyway, go ahead.
Lose him?
Might have. So the after that, I believe that the rest of you found the Dwarven king and queen. You found their actual burial chamber, right?
Correct.
And the dwarves, upon figuring out that this is kind of a sacred place, decided, we're not touching anything, we're just going to leave. And you left, and you completely resealed that, because it had a weird thing where it had doors, it had like a double door or something.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that you had to...
Yeah, it had a metal door in front of the the actual access point.
Right. Right. And so you left that. I mean, you sealed it back, right? And then you left that area, and then you found this room with the well.
Did the dwarves recognize who the king and queen were?
That is a good question. I believe they did, and I probably gave a name at that point in time, but I don't have my notes in front of me, so...
We'll get to that. We'll circle back. Might have it in my notes too, but I don't know.
So what happened in the well room? Let's go from there.
Met a friendly snake.
There's a
Next-
creature in the well that we came out and grabbed. Grabbed a couple of them, if I remember correctly.
I just wanted to give friendly little hugs.
That's right.
Right, friendly little hugs. That sounds right. It was so lonely from being in there so long.
It was so lonely, it hugged us so hard, I'm down half health. I barely heard you as like a small little whisper.
Yeah, just for a second, and then it cut out.
Yeah, we lost him. There he goes.
So did you guys kill the snake?
Yes.
Well, we were trying to tug it back, and it accidentally was very fragile. Yes, we ended up killing the snake. I think we checked out the pit. I don't think there was anything major, but it's like a well. I think I went down it again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why I keep doing that.
So the
And
snake,
then
yeah, the snake was actually what's called a Dakmore Worm, which there I'm showing it on the screen for the audience. That is actually a sort of dragon relative, and it looks very snake-like, but it has 4 weird tentacles, and it can constrict, and it is very, very. Anyway, it was tough. It was tough. And then you went down the well. You figured out there's no real entrance down there, or it didn't go anywhere. And then what?
I recall Alex claimed to have seen a chest in the mural and went towards it and just disappeared.
And then
I think then we put a rope on Grimble, and he walked into the mural, and the rope went slack, and he just disappeared as well. And I think from what the party, or what those of us who are still remain, that's all that we know. I believe Alex did find a chest, opened it, and found some stuff in it. And I don't remember if Grimble caught up with Bert or not.
Grimble, I think we ended up. Grimble did catch up with Bert.
Yeah,
because didn't you guys then get to see like a city in the distance or something?
And there's a big city in the distance. Yeah.
Was the mural in the Dakmore Worm room?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'll describe it again in a few minutes. But so Grimble did go through the mural and then found Bert and convinced him to go back and camp where the chest had been.
That's right.
In case the rest of you came through. And that's pretty much where we ended it. I do believe that Maul tried a couple of other things to try to get into the mural to follow where Grimble and Bert had gone, but was unsuccessful at that. And so they decided that they would just rest. And then we didn't actually, adjudicate the rest, right? Like I didn't roll to see if anything interrupted you, and you kind of were discussing whether to go get Elgar and Zeno and bring them back, to the room, and we kind of left it up in the air, is basically how that happened. So now is when we can make that decision if Maul is back. Maul, are you back? I don't hear him. Does anybody else hear him?
No. So as the only duly elected representative...
He's probably rebooting. He needs to... There he is. Speak, elf!
Do you hear me now?
We can.
Okay, I don't know what's going on.
Who knows?
Are you able to hear us?
Yeah, I could hear you guys through that whole thing.
Oh, wow.
I was sitting here telling what happened, and all of a sudden everybody was talking over me, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, you stopped mid-sentence as far as we were concerned, so we figured that you dropped out, and so we just went on, figuring you'd figured out. Anyway, okay, so Rekmit and Maul, you are in the mural room. Grimble and Bert are through the mural, and Elgar and Zeno are back by in the hall where it splits to go into sort of this part of the dungeon. So the question is, do you want to go get Elgar and Zeno, or what do you want to do?
We have animals also in the cave, the mine.
Do you have
Did
animals?
we have horses and stuff? Did we bring? I can't remember if we brought pack animals. Really,
I believe Bert brought Daisy, didn't he?
Oh, I'm sure he never left Daisy behind until he went through the mural, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did come back on horses because we were on horses when we left.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't remember giving up the horses, so I'm sure we did come back on them. And it was a fast trip back because of that.
So
Yeah.
then we may want to actually bring them into this complex with us, because if we go through this mural somehow, which we haven't been able to figure out how to do, we'd be leaving the horses here, and they would probably die.
Because some of you couldn't get through the mural.
Correct.
That was part of the problem.
Or we turn the horses loose.
You either turn the horses loose, or we could bring them in with us. But I definitely think we should go back and check on the other party members and bring them here as well. At the very least.
Definitely get the other party members.
Okay. And the horses?
We'll check with them when we get there.
All right, so who's going to go back and get them?
Well, Rekman. At least Rekman has to go, because if we actually decide to go get the horses, we'll either have to have somebody to open the door or keep the door open.
Yeah, I think there's no sense in not both of us not going.
Cool.
Grimble,
room disappeared.
Grimble, what are you while are you just camping, or?
So, yeah, I'm not quite sure how the time's fitting, but we had decided to camp basically for the evening.
Okay. Are you and Bert going to set a watch, or are you just going to kind of...
No, we will set a watch. Okay. We'll take it in turns.
Okay, so, Maul and Rekmit, you're going back out to find Elgar and Zeno. You easily find them, of course, because they didn't leave their posted positions. So that is, that's the four of you reunited.
So we'll explain to Elgar and Zeno what we saw, and that we want to probably camp out in that mural room and figure out what to do. The question we have for you is, should we bring all our animals in with us or not? Because they disappeared into this mural and are, like, gone. I'd hate to lose the horses here. I think Maul suggests we could either turn them loose, too.
You lost Bert and Grimble.
We didn't lose them.
They ran off. They yelled something about finding a chest full of gold, and that's the last thing we saw of them.
They chose to abandon their sturdy, stalwart companions.
Oh, the lies! The lies begin so soon after they leave.
What lies? It's all the truth.
So what happened to them again?
Well, we went in this room. There were murals, very, very lifelike murals on all the walls. And Bert insisted there was a chest in the forest, and he didn't recognize it was paintings, and he insisted on going there. And I tried to tackle him, but he squirted out of my arms and popped through the wall. And that's the last we saw of him. I think we heard a little of him afterwards, and he confirmed he had found a chest of gold. And then Grimble and I tried to join him, and Grimble, the wall let them Grimble through, but wouldn't let me through.
I wouldn't
And
have
we never saw their image when they went into the wall.
Yeah, you didn't
Right.
actually hear from him again, but you did, when you looked away and then looked back to that area, you saw the chest was open, and then a while later it was gone, but there was a spot on the ground as if it had been buried.
Grimble touched the mural to disappear?
Just walked through the wall.
I walked through it, I believe. I walked to the wall and just went straight through.
It looked like he just went right through the wall like it wasn't there,
tied
but
a
when
rope
Grimble
on him
tried,
so we could stay connected to him and pull him back, and the rope just went limp.
Did the rope appear in the mural?
No, I mean it just stayed there in our hand and at the wall.
Could you pull the rope back once it was in the wall?
It wasn't through the wall.
Well,
It
ropes
was
don't
just
go.
laying at the wall. The knot, just like the knot wasn't there, like the knot came undone.
Oh, we should probably return to the mural room and see if we can find our missing friends.
They
When
could
you
be
first
dead.
walk through into this room, it seems at that point you either see the mural as a mural or you don't. You see it as just the land beyond. So keep that in mind when you walk through the door.
I just saw it as a mural. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well,
But I'll accept what you say.
obviously, Grimble and Bert did not see it as a mural. Bert the first time and Grimble the second time after he came through.
But how could they not see that it was a mural? I mean, it was obviously a mural. I mean, that's what we all saw.
I don't know, but they swore it wasn't a mural. So either they see it that way or they think they see it that way. But if you don't see it that way, you can walk through the wall. That we can deduce. So we'll take them winding back through the hallways to the mural room.
Did you make
Question
a
is-
decision about the animals?
Yeah, that was really my
Oh.
question. What are we doing with the animals first?
Whew.
We have to, at the very least, we got to bring Daisy. Someone's gonna have to go get Daisy. We can't just let Daisy loose.
Sure we can.
Maybe
No.
I mean, if we
You
have to
could,
go
but we're not
through-
letting Daisy
if
loose.
we have to go through this wall, they could starve before we get back.
Well, they're probably going to get through it easier than I'm going to get through it because it's a mural. It's not a wall. It's not forest. It's a mural.
Okay. Whatever it is that it goes through, they're
It doesn't
probably
go through.
not going to.
It's a wall. It can't go through a wall. I mean, it's solid.
Oh, so they're sitting in the room. They're just being real quiet to blend it into the scenery.
Maybe. I don't know, but it's a wall. I mean, it's not like it's a magical teleport system. I mean, come on. Those don't exist back in the days that were built.
Yeah, doors never did anything like that.
No, that was the gnomes.
I know of this.
Okay. Let's bring them with us then.
Okay, so you're bringing in all the horses and Daisy, the mule donkey, whatever she was.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
She's a mule, not a donkey.
was she? Okay, I couldn't remember.
I don't think it matters.
At the very least, we can maybe lead a horse through the mural.
Okay, so we will say that you did that because there is really no opposition. Rekmit, are you going to open the dwarven door again, or are you going to sort of hold the door open so that it never closes?
Correct.
Okay.
That's what I was planning, was or wait till they came back and open it again.
Okay.
Okay,
I
we can do that.
figured I would just stay in there because... Oh, wait. Maybe I shouldn't stay near the purple-violet fungus. I'm not sure I'd be okay with that. As long as it doesn't look like there's any violet fungus in the hallway, yes, I would stay there to open the door or hold it open until they got back.
I think you all pushed that door closed, right, with the violet fungus?
Yeah.
Because you lit it on fire and shut the door.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean there's nothing sneaking out.
Okay. So they come back with all the horses and Daisy the mule. And you're all going back down to the mural room, is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody who come, so how are you doing this? Are you going in one at a time? Are you putting the horses in first? Are you shutting the door in between each person? What's your game plan here? Are you doing anything special? You gonna tie ropes to everybody? How are you doing this?
Right. Is this in reference to the mural room itself?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, 2 of us have 2 animals, and 2 of us have 1 animal. Or actually, 3 of us. 5.
Don't overthink it.
Yeah. No. 3 of us have 2 animals, and 1 of us has 1 animal. So
I haven't seen the mural yet, so
Correct.
going on the information that Maul has given me, I'm going to open the door and look in with a rope tied around my waist and look in from the hallway to see what I see.
But you're not going to walk fully into the room?
Not yet. Unless Rekmit and Maul say it's safe.
Okay, so here's what you see when you look in the room. You see a circular room with a well right in the center of it, and the lip of the well is about 3 feet off the ground. It's made of old stones and cobblestones and whatnot. There is a dead green... Actually, no, it fell into the well, so you don't actually see that, but you know about it because they told you about it. There's some nasty greenish blood and some regular blood from your comrades on the floor of the room. The floor looks like a sort of mossy, grassy knoll. When you look at the walls of the room, it looks like a brightly painted fresco with a tumbling rocky slope leading down a hill. There's some trees there, and it looks like you can see very far, and far in the distance you see like a city. You see like the leaves look like they're blowing in the wind, but it looks like it's a mural. It's a painting, but you see that it looks very realistic, and I need you to make me an intelligence saving throw, please.
Okay. Is this going to be affected by disease, poison, paralysis, polymorph, petrification, or death attack? Would the iron body have any effect?
No. And actually, it's not even a save, it's just a check. It's just an intelligence check.
Okay. Intelligence is secondary.
No, you know what? It is a save. Sorry. I scribbled on my notes, and that's why I'm reading it wrong. It is a save.
That is going to be 15 secondary. Oh, plus my level. Hold on. 17 secondary.
So you notice that there is a spot just on the far wall where it looks like the ground has been freshly dug up, and there's a couple of trees behind it, and beyond those trees it looks like you see a tent, and the tent opening is flapping in the breeze, and you see someone moving around in there, and it looks like you could just walk right through that thing, as if it's a portal and not a painting.
I see no mural inside this room. There does appear to be a figure camping in a tent. Call back to my companions in the hallway. Should I enter and help them? Introduce myself, maybe?
Everybody's looking at you like, I have no idea.
I see no treasure chest, but there is a tent.
Are you sure it's just a mural? It's a wall with a painting on it.
Oh, it's like the room extends into a land beyond.
But it doesn't. It's just a wall. It's just made to look like it extends.
Some type of optical illusion.
Yeah, optical illusion.
Isn't this what you said they saw as well?
Well, I'm not sure what they saw. I just know that what I saw, and they walked into a wall and just disappeared. But I don't understand because it's obvious that it's a wall with a really good painting on it.
Elgar, what do you see? Look into the room with me, and I will hold your shoulders so you don't succumb to the...
And you did mention a tent, and I'll say, now, a tent is new. I didn't see a tent last time.
The beautiful landscape.
I'll go take a look. I look in the room. What do I see? Do I see a tent?
Can you roll me an intelligence save, please?
Hey, that's like an 11. Well, no, hold on. Yeah, that's like a 12 prime. 12, not prime. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, you see... So you're standing next to Zeno. Neither one of you has actually entered the room fully yet, correct?
Correct.
So you see basically the same thing he saw. You see that the ground, there's a well right there. The ground looks kind of stone, but kind of like a little grassy area. The mural that's painting the walls is vast and very detailed. And it looks like a sort of landscape where you're on like the crest of a hill, and you can look down. You see a city in the distance. You see a couple of trees, and there's a spot on the ground that looks like it's a little bit dug up. But behind the trees, right in that area, there looks to be a tent, and the sort of tent flap is waving in the breeze. The leaves of the trees are waving in the breeze.
Wow, that's really lifelike. It's like I was outside. I tilt my head to the side, tilt it to the other side.
Yeah, but it's a painting, Elgar. It's a painting.
I get some crumbs or like a piece of my rations, and I throw it in to the picture.
Do I need to make a roll?
Just got raided by Legends of Aelios. Thanks, guys.
Oh, sweet. So, so Maul, you're not actually in the room yet because Elgar and Zeno are blocking the door. They're kind of standing there and looking in. They're not letting, you can't get by.
Okay.
Beyond the fact that we have horses and a mule.
I'm gonna look at Elgar and.
So wait, so Elgar, who took something and threw it at the wall? Was
my rations.
Elgar? Your rations. Okay, they hit the wall and fall onto the ground.
I look at Zeno and I'm like, I don't understand.
Magical. Are you getting any divine sense from this room?
No, I don't feel any divine magic.
Perhaps we should go in. Onto my arm.
Oh, room doesn't hurt you.
We'll grasp the forearm of Elgar and step into the room.
Elgar, are you going?
No, I'm not going in there. It's craziness.
Stay out here and hold on to me, my friend.
You'll kick him.
Daisy, do your thing.
Are you going to send Daisy in?
You're going with Daisy. She likes you.
Well, if they've already said that a rope couldn't go through. I mean, perhaps I can go in with Daisy, but if we disappear, you'll just be in the same predicament. If you hold on to
Well, you
my
won't
arm,
disappear unless you walk through the wall.
Go in the room. We're all waiting here.
Yeah, I mean, the room is not dangerous.
you guys are already in the room.
No, we're waiting for you to get
in
in.
the
You,
room.
Zeno and Elgar are blocking the door right now. So everybody
Yeah.
else,
That's what I thought.
everybody's standing in the hallway behind you, and there's like 6 horses and a mule.
You guys done looking at the wall yet? Can we go in?
I thought you said they disappeared. Do you want us to disappear in the room?
They
Only if you
disappear
run into
if they
the
walk
wall.
through the wall.
Right.
And Maul couldn't go through the wall. He tried. He bounced off it. You see the little mark on his forehead?
See?
I will take Daisy and step into the room.
Okay, so you lead Daisy into the room. Are you leaving the door open?
Yeah.
Okay. You're in the room now.
Hey, Maul.
Does the wall look
You
any
think-
different?
You think closing the door would do anything? Should we close it on him in there? And then open it up and see what happens?
It looks even more lifelike, Zeno. It looks like... It's weird because you look at it and you see that it's a painting, it's a mural, it's a very exquisite, high-quality painting. If you look close enough at the wall, you can see the brushstrokes, but it also looks like you could step right through it, and that's how good it is.
Yeah.
You could step through it. You
Yeah,
see
and
it
we
almost
saw
moving.
another mural before this in a room back before the burial chamber that had like the king and queen changing positions. There was a floor mural, and you looked at it from different ways, and they were doing different things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a
Does,
mosaic, so it was made of multiple tiles, and the way the tiles were laid, and depending on the direction light was coming from, you could actually see the king and queen sort of switch positions or look like they were moving.
Sam, if I'm
Yes.
correct, we would have had to bring them through that room, right?
No.
Trying to remember the layout.
So actually, yes. No. No, you did not.
Okay.
You would
that
have had
room was
to
on the
if
way
you...
to the burial chamber.
Yeah, if you took them to the burial chamber, you would have to, but not...
Didn't mean to cause confusion. I just
Yeah,
couldn't remember
so-
the exact layout.
No, I was looking at the map and it was upside down, so I was... But no, you do not have to take them through that room for this. Zeno,
So
are
these
you gonna
guys had
are you gonna
some
walk through
really
the wall?
amazing art things they could do. So it's just, it's just great art.
Is there a border on the mural or any kind of frame?
No. It's like wall to wall. Even the floor is painted to look like soft, grassy, mossy area.
And isn't the ceiling looks like the sky?
Ceiling looks like the sky. When you look up, you see like clouds floating by.
All right. So before I walk through, I'm gonna talk to everybody else. Do we all want to try to go through? I know Maul
I have
couldn't
no
make
problem
it
going in
through.
there. I've walked
Before,
through this
but-
3 times already, and I'm not dead yet. So
Hang on. Before we walk in, we want to close the door and open it up and see if Zeno's still there?
I might as well try it.
Close the door.
Okay, so Elgar, are you getting out of the way out in the hall, or are you going into the room?
We're going in the room.
Okay, so now Elgar and Zeno and Daisy the Mule are in the room, and the door is now shut. You two, when you look back at the door, it's like there's no door. It's like you're standing on this landscape looking forward. But at the same time, you can tell you're still in the room. You could tell kind of where it's almost like a visual illusion where if you sort of look at it from one perspective, it looks like you're standing in the landscape. But if your eyes shift slightly or refocus slightly, you could tell it's the walls. But you're still standing sort of basically right by the door. So you haven't actually tried to go through the mural at this point.
We're still here.
I think Maul and I would give it about a count of 5, and we're going to open the door.
You're doing what?
Well, a round, so count of 6 seconds or whatever. Is it 10 seconds? I don't remember. Then we would open the door again.
Okay. They're just standing there.
Well, you may want to pin the door open so we can always find the exit, because once you shut the door, it was barely perceptible. The exit,
No, it's right here. It's always been right here.
understand, but if you shut the door, it looks like
No, it looks like the door, but a painted door.
So
Zeno, are you holding Daisy's reins, or are you just letting her walk freely?
I'm holding Daisy.
Okay.
Do we all want to try to go through the mural?
Well, I mean, right now I got 4 horses. Somebody's come get some horses.
Send the horses in, then we'll follow in.
Okay, so Reckman and Maul, I need you, when you go into the room, to make me an intelligence saving throw. Elgar,
Daisy trying to eat the realistic painted grass on the floor.
No, because you're holding her reins, so she's just standing next to you. She's very well trained. Bert trained her very well.
So
I never thought I would fail, but I got an 11 on a prime.
Elgar, George, what were you going to say?
I was going to put a spike where the door is, just lying it down on the floor, not, putting it in. Does it seem to, one, I'm doing this so I know where the door is. Two, does it look like it disappears into the grass? Or is it on top of the grass?
No, it's on top.
Okay, so almost like a pane of glass that we're standing on above the grass. Would that be a way of saying, you know what I'm saying?
Almost as if you are simultaneously standing in the grass but not in the grass, because when you look directly at it, you can tell it's a painting on the floor. Just like when you look directly at the wall, you can tell it's a painting and has exquisitely fine brushstrokes, right? You could see, as if it was an oil painting, you could see the brushstrokes. But when you sort of step back and you let your eyes relax and focus in a slightly different manner, it's so high quality, it looks like it's almost like one of those ultra realistic paintings. I don't know if you've seen those, where people can actually take paint, literally, and paint with a paintbrush, and it looks like a photograph. It is so high resolution and so fine in terms of the lines and everything. It's almost like that, but better.
Yep, got it. Thanks.
Mm-hmm. So now you're all crowded in here. Did everybody go in?
Yes. I got an 8. Prime.
Did you shut the door after everybody is in there with the horses?
Sure. We shut the door. Because we know Elgar put a little spike down to tell us where the door was, even though I know this is just a painting.
When Reckman and Maul walk in, what do you see? Do you see the mural that you can walk into?
Reckman and Maul see the same thing they saw before, a really exquisite painting, and yeah, it does look very lifelike.
Yeah, it's a very lifelike. It looks great, but I know I can't walk into it. I mean, I've seen Maul hit his head on it. I don't know what happened to Grimble and what happened to Bert. I mean, it's weird, but
who's holding the horses?
I'm holding 2 of them.
Reckman's probably got a couple as well.
We just ran 2 of them in there without anyone holding them.
Those 2 horses disappear.
Did they go by the wall and disappear, or did they just disappear when they walked in the room?
They kind of walked into the wall. You saw them kind of about to take a step, put their head down like they're going to start munching on the grass, and then they disappeared.
So I guess we all want to try to go in. I mean, if me and Elgar are able to make it through the wall, if we're holding on to one of you 2 at the same time, that might pull you through.
Hold on. Pull through, or are we being disintegrated and, atomized?
Grimble,
We could be being killed.
Grimble, you hear the slight neighing and munching of a couple of horses walking into the area.
Really? So I hear them. Can I tell where the sound is coming from?
Back where the chest had been buried. Just
Is
it's
it
like
dark yet?
several feet away. It is dark as falling. Yeah.
Okay. Take a little wander
the-
back and see.
In the room, are we seeing it turn dark?
Yeah, it's as so you went outside to get the horses and you saw that it was kind of dusk and the night was falling. When you got back to the room, that's exactly the condition that the room was in as well.
Okay.
Maul,
but
I think 2
there's-
horses just died,
But
and
there's
Bert and Grimble are dead.
but there's stars in the sky, so there's actually a source of light.
You said before you could hear Bert's voice. Bert! Oh, can you hear me? I will scream this at the top of my lungs at the mural.
I said that, but I was mistaken. And I thought I had heard him, but the DM corrected me. No, we hadn't heard him. So I would not have told you that because I wasn't trying to deceive you. My memory was bad.
He remembered that they kind of got a confirmation that Bert was there because things were happening to the chest over time that they sort of saw but didn't see. Like there were changes in the mural that they were not expecting, and they attributed it to Bert.
Yeah, because we can show you there was the chest over here. See where the dirt is? The chest was sitting on top of that dirt. And then right after Bert disappeared, shortly after that, the chest was open. Then it closed in a little bit. And then after Grimble went in, it disappeared.
Do 2 horses appear on the mural or no?
No.
And as I went back, did I see anything?
Yeah,
They're dead.
You see 2 of the horses, and they look really familiar. They've got packs on them and everything.
Oh. I'll go back and collect the horses. And I will shout out, like, I've got the horses!
Do we have any other horses trying to wander off with them? Or are they all...
You're holding them all.
I know we're holding them, but are they trying? Are they like wanting to go where the other horses are and graze? Or
no, because
they content just to stand there.
Yeah, they're trained. So if you're holding their reins, they're not moving.
Elgar, hold Daisy for a moment.
Then. Much better trained than I've ever seen a horse.
Well, you also brought them into this dank, dark dungeon, and they're in a kind of scary place with weird smells. So they're a little bit, wary right now.
They're going to kick you into sacrificial mode instead of taking it on themselves.
I'm going to pass Daisy's reins to Elgar and see if you can go in this time. The wall.
Don't do it, you're gonna die.
Oh, you touch the wall, Reckman, since you're the one that can't go in.
I'm not gonna do it.
I thought you guys already tried to touch it.
Grimble tried, it didn't work.
Elgar,
you want me to touch it?
Elgar threw food at it and it bounced off.
Reckman the horses so they don't wander off. And
I'll walk over to the wall and pat on it, rub up against it, lean against it. You know?
We've already had 2 party members and 2 horses die.
Does he disappear?
No, he's patting the wall.
Right.
And...
Oh, grab my arm. And I'm going to grab his arm like this.
Okay.
Because if it looks like real landscape to me, then I'm going to reach my hand and try to touch the wall.
You touch the wall.
It doesn't go through.
Nope.
Told you.
Yeah, it looks like real landscape. It looks fantastic. I haven't seen it the other way, whatever makes it different. But the other guys, just walk right through it.
Maul, it looks like you could walk through it, but when you walk up to touch the wall, you touch the wall.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know what's different, but you can't walk through it, and some people can.
Well, we don't know they walked through it, Maul. They could have just disintegrated and be dead.
Yes, they could have just disintegrated and be dead.
There could be ghosts, and the mural just making us think things are happening.
Okay, you got their receipts for their share of the malachite.
Actually, no, I don't think the only receipt I have is for Jake. They had their own receipts, so I'm sorry. We lost their receipts. All because Trip wanted everyone to have their own receipt. He could have had much more gold, Maul.
So I think we take it out of his hide when we get back.
Elgar,
I'm with you on that plan that you take it out of his hide when we get back.
what's Elgar gonna do?
I believe that all this is real, and I kind of like put my head down and I wander around the room and I walk over to the mural and I try to go through it.
Sort of where the like any particular spot, or like where the horses
the
went through,
horses
or
went.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So you all see Elgar kind of wander around for a second, and then he just disappears, walks into the wall, disappears.
Well, glad he healed me before he died.
Priorities.
I'm sorry, Elgar. I'm sorry to see you go. Sad. Now I need Jake back.
Party is split. Have to figure out
oh,
a way
Father,
to get through this mural.
Take Elgar's body and soul into your embrace.
So now Elgar's going to go over there and make them take that chest of gold back to the Baron and give it to him, probably.
No, that was Jake. He was the one who was all righteous.
Should we let his horse go through so he doesn't have to walk?
No. If Elgar's dead, he should probably have his horse with him in the afterlife.
So whichever horse was Elgar's, I will lead over in that general direction and let it go and see if it wanders through the wall or if it.
Yeah, so for a few seconds it sort of stands there, and eventually it kind of puts its head down and starts to try to, muzzle the ground looking for some grass and whatnot, and eventually, after trying to munch on the grass on the ground, it takes a couple of steps forward and disappears.
Can we identify exactly where that spot is on the map?
Where the horse just went through, or...
Yeah, where the horse and Elgar just went through.
Sure, let me...
Is there any dust? Is there any, red blood particles floating in the air?
So the blue X is where the horse went through, and that's also where Elgar went through, but the other horses went through more like here.
Well...
Okay, before anyone else goes through, give me a receipt.
So since
and the chest.
Well, Elgar didn't have one.
The chest was like in this vicinity.
It's just a wall. I don't understand. I think they're being eradicated.
They keep disappearing. Do you have any dwarven knowledge?
Maybe they are. I've heard of such things, but who knows?
Portals that your ancestors used to use to traverse long distances.
So right now, 3 horses have gone through, and everyone except Zeno, Maul, and Rekmet.
Daisy.
And Daisy is
now
still
we can see the city, right?
Yeah, you see the city in the distance.
Hang on, Maul.
It's getting dark. It's getting darker by the minute, though. It's getting pretty dark.
I have a question for you, Maul.
We'll make sure. So
when you tried to go through before
that city.
Sorry, say that again. Maul.
Zeno, did you recognize the city?
Do I recognize the city?
I don't think you're from the island, right? You were just in search of.
Let's see. Let's bring up the character sheet here. The backstory is... I think Trip is from the north part of the island. Mm-hmm. Zeno came from a different area.
Yeah. So, you do not, but you know enough to recognize that it is a large enough city that it's like a metropolis type of city. It's probably a capital of somewhere.
Rekmit doesn't recognize it?
Not really,
Nope.
no.
I've been to small towns. Maul,
Yeah.
when you tried to go through the wall, did you just touch the wall, or did you try to walk through it?
I just walked up to it.
Because didn't we see Elgar touch it, and then he put his head down and just walked through?
No,
Or
he didn't,
disappeared when he did that?
He didn't touch it. He walked
Who
around.
touched it? Zeno touched it.
Zeno touched it.
Okay. We've seen people try to touch the wall.
Maybe we got to sneak up on it, just sort of whistle and get close to it, and it takes us.
Well, we seen horses get close and just disappear, right? We've seen Zeno touch the wall. We've seen the food hit the wall. And I don't know what happened to Elgar. He just Elgar'd it, I guess.
Totally Elgard it.
Totally.
I'm going to pick up Elgar's ration and put that in my pack for later.
Okay. The stuff he threw at the wall. Okay.
Ain't no reason to let it go to waste.
Okay.
Can of foo hash, probably.
All right, I'm going to try something, my friends.
What are you going to try?
I don't believe that this wall really takes you... I don't believe the wall is actually... It carries on in further landscape, but know that it possibly is a magical portal. I'm going to clear my mind and enter a monk-like trance. See if I can walk through the wall with my eyes closed. And I will go to the spot where Elgar disappeared. Clear my mind of any miscellaneous thoughts. I still don't actually believe that I can walk through the wall. I'm going to keep my eyes closed and slowly step forward into the wall.
You step into the wall. Your foot hits the wall.
Right, they're dead.
Defeated by Mural.
Oh, well. So much for that. Let's go back home and see if we can get some more party members.
Did you succeed or fail on your intelligence check?
Everybody failed this time.
I got a 17 secondary.
That's out of character, sorry. I'm just trying to figure it out.
Yeah, no, I failed too. So
Yeah.
Well, I failed as well, finally.
So the first time, Maul and Rekmit had both passed, and everybody else failed. Well, everybody who rolled failed.
I think Maul and I passed like twice because we went out of the room and came back in.
Yeah.
Because you're like, okay, we don't know what's going on.
Everyone failed this time.
So I'm going to take a little iron spike, and before I do this, I'm going to talk to the...
Are you still holding on to Daisy?
wait a second. It's the second person in the room. Second person to walk through the portal, maybe. Or into the room.
Or the first person to go try and go through the mural.
I was the first person in the first time. Bert followed me. Then Grimble and I went back out, and I came back in. Then he did, and he disappeared. This time, Zeno walked in first, then Elgar.
So what are you trying to say? We need to walk out? I'll walk in first, and then you walk in, and you'll be able to go through?
That's a real possibility. It's the one thing I see that's common.
How many horses do we still have?
2 horses, and Daisy.
Who's holding Daisy?
I was not holding Daisy. When I grabbed Maul's hand, I gave the reins to Elgar. And Elgar didn't say that he gave me Daisy back, so I don't know
Elgar, were you still holding on to Daisy when you went through the wall?
Oh, I wouldn't have been, no.
Okay, so you could just kind of drop the reins and went. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, so Daisy is unharnessed.
I mean, it may work, but the problem with that is we would still only be able to get 2 of us through the wall.
Hey.
If that is correct.
Maul, drop the reins to the horses. We'll go out. We'll close the door. I'll go in first. You can go in second and run through the wall. But I want you to run as fast as you can.
So, all right, before we try that, only the landscape is affected. If we see the sky getting darker and we see the chest, things happening to it, maybe lights coming on in the city, we're not seeing the horses or the people that we possibly think may be going in there. So what happens if we alter the landscape from this side, scratching a message onto the paint that says, "Are you alive?" I'm posing this question to Maul and Rekmit.
I don't know. Give it a try.
I'm already outside of the room.
Should we?
I'm waiting for Maul to come out. I've already got a contract.
I don't want to irreparably damage the mural so we can't get in it, but if we scratch it on the ground, will it appear wherever they may have gone, and could they answer?
I don't know. Maybe if we got on our horses and let them have their head and just they wander over towards the wall, and if it takes them, would it take us with them?
How tall was this room?
What?
It's like 20 feet
It's fairly
tall.
tall.
Yeah, 20 or
Okay,
30
so we
feet.
wouldn't smack our
it
heads.
has a domed roof.
All right, so let's try Maul's idea. We all exit the room,
Well-
shut the door.
Or close your eyes and run into the wall.
So
That sounds like a good
Are
idea.
you taking the
I've
horses
already
out with
done
you?
the running into the wall thing. It doesn't help.
Yeah, we're taking the horses with us. And Dave.
Yeah, but we don't have enough data points, Maul. You should try it again.
Eyes closed.
Say that again. You're taking the horses out with you, and then okay.
Yeah.
And then you're gonna open the door and go back in.
And Maul, you want to go in second this time?
Yeah, I'll go in second.
Okay.
I'll go in first.
I'll take an intelligence saving throw from everybody again.
That will be
Yeah.
a 13 prime.
And that'll be a 17 prime for me.
7 secondary.
Okay. And now everybody's getting on horses. Is that what the deal is?
Yep.
Which one of you is gonna ride Daisy?
All right, Daisy.
Actually, I'll ride Daisy because I'm smaller than you.
Got 3 horses and Daisy.
Oh.
We only have 1 horse in Daisy.
2 horses. You
I
brought.
thought we sent in.
I thought you
We brought six.
you brought 6 horses. 2 of them went through. Grimble already has them. Elgar went
Yeah.
through. Oh, and you sent his horse through, so there is 3 horses. Sorry.
Yeah.
You're
Yep,
right.
there's 3 horses and Daisy.
Okay, so everybody's.
I'll ride Daisy because I'm smaller than you monsters.
Mhm.
All right, go for it, Elgar. I mean, Maul.
Okay. So I'll let the horse have its head and let it wander towards the wall.
Are you doing anything special? Are you like hunching down? Are you watching? Are you closing your eyes? Are
I'm just
you
gonna watch.
thinking
I'm
about
just gonna
something in
sit there and
particular?
kind of look down and watch the head of the horse and watch what it's doing.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I'm actually going to lean over the Daisy and just hug her and go, close my eyes and go, this is ridiculous.
So Maul starts, walking his horse a little bit forward, and the horse takes a couple of steps and disappears. And Maul, you need to roll me a d6.
Oh, 4.
You take 4 points of damage as you fall on your ass off of the horse that disappeared.
Okay.
All right. So if it's something as simple as belief, I think I saw Elgar's face when he disappeared. He looked determined to enter into the other land. Taking the other 2 horses' reins, I will carry them and not ride them. Or I'll give one horse to Maul and take the other horse. And I will go up to the same spot, clear my mind in a monk-like trance again. Believe I can step through this wall into the land of greenery and I will walk forward.
So you both see Zeno start to get close to the wall, and then both him and the horse disappear.
Seeing as my eyes are closed, I would only have opened my eyes if I'd heard Maul's express any kind of discontent at falling on the ground.
Okay, so
I
your
probably
eyes are
did.
closed.
I
Right,
was
so I'll open my eyes and go, well, I guess that didn't work, and I'll get off Daisy.
Well, wait. So
You-
what did you? Were you riding Daisy, or what were you? I thought you were just standing there, talking.
I was on Daisy, and I like ducked down on top of her and hugged her,
Uh,
and went, "This is ridiculous," and closed my eyes.
right, but Daisy's not moving, so you're just
Right.
okay.
So
So
you're
when
still
Maul
on
falls
your-
to the ground, he's got no horse, and I'm like, "Well, that didn't work." So I might as well I'll get off of Daisy, and all of a sudden, Zeno and his horse goes through. I'm like,
Okay.
"Well, this just is interesting."
So
You
now,
guys heard me. You guys heard me say I believe that I'm going to be transported before I disappeared.
there's one horse, and Daisy, and Reckmit and
And
Maul.
Maul and Reckman.
Yeah.
Well, we're the only ones left alive, Maul.
Well, let's secure these horses, the mule, and spend the night, then gather up some malachite and head back in the morning.
He's gonna go.
Okay, there's got to be a way through this. I mean, I sort of like your idea, but I don't. Because the horses are making it through, and I think Daisy would make it through. I mean, your horse made it through. You were there. Something we're missing. Just don't know what it is.
I guess anybody but elves and dwarves can go through it.
No, because Grimble's a dwarf. I mean, he may be a little strange for a dwarf, but he did make it through. Or he died. I mean, maybe he just was a dwarven sacrifice, so I don't have to die. I mean, that's possible.
And that's true. Maybe all of them are dead. That's a point you have brought up many times. We don't know whether they're alive or dead.
All right. So while they're debating that, Samuel, once I get to the other side, do I see Elgar?
Do you open your eyes?
Yeah, of course.
So, you see Elgar there probably talking to Grimble, because once the first horses came through, Grimble was paying attention to that area. And so by the time Elgar came through, Grimble was probably ready for that.
So is the grass nice and green on the other side?
Well, it's getting quite dark, but yes, it is pretty green.
I am going to begin digging out a little rut of grass so that the brown or black dirt underneath says, "I'm here."
Okay. Where are you digging that at? Right where
Exactly
you went through?
where I'm standing.
Okay.
And I'm going to light a torch so I can see.
So Maul and Reckmit, although Robert walked away from his computer, Maul and Reckmit, you suddenly see a brightness in the room. It gets
Okay.
notably brighter for some reason, and there is a specific source of that light. But you can't. All you see is the lightness. You don't see a source.
Okay.
The mural in one portion is quite a bit brighter, and you see that something is digging up the ground in the mural, quite slowly.
It's probably undead.
Okay.
His
Elgar, come help
skeletons
me.
Pop out. And what message are you scrawling? I'm here. Is that what you're?
I'm here.
I am
Leave.
here. Okay. So after a few minutes, the message becomes clear, and it says, "I'm here."
Maul, the Allfather, is sending us a signal, a message.
What would you like to do?
I think it's just awesome that Mull and I are still stuck.
What are the rest of you doing over at the campsite? Other than scrawling a message into the ground.
Now we have horses and we have people and we have food. Well,
Mm-hmm.
kind of just hanging out, waiting. See if the
So-
rest come through.
Before the word believe, I put down the Rekmit's name. So it's like Rekmit, believe.
Okay. That's all.
Well,
That's,
you're alive.
So Zeno scrawled into the ground, I am here, and Elgar, you're scrawling Rekmit believe.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll wait for him to get back to see what he does.
And actually, before that, we could put down Mull and then the plus Rekmit, believe.
Maul plus Rekmit believe. Okay.
Wonder if we write on a piece of paper and leave it on the ground, if they'll see it. 'Cause we can tell Maul that he wasn't galloping fast enough to try again with the second horse.
He needs to run full speed into the wall.
Maul, you see that some more digging up of the landscape is occurring, like just on the ground, right, sort of in that portion of the mural where everybody seems to go through. And now it says, I'm here on one part, and then it says Maul plus, and then you see it's starting to say something else. It starts with an R and then an E.
It's like the turkey drop.
And eventually it says Maul with a plus sign, and then it says Rekmit believe.
It's a sign from the Allfather, as I stated. I think they're ghosts. Or it's the Allfather speaking to me. To us. Richard, you started talking, then stopped. Did you do that on purpose, or did you die off on us?
You're very quiet.
I heard what, and then nothing.
So in the ground, you start seeing more words being hastily scrawled. And it looks like it says, come through. And then pretend it's real.
I will let go of Daisy and see if she manages to go through.
She will sort of meander about for a couple of minutes, and eventually she will get to where the grass over there looks like it might be nice for munching, and if she walks toward the mural, she will disappear.
Character believe again. All right.
So easy, even the donkey can do it.
It's so easy, even a mule can do it. I will walk out of the room, close the door, reopen it, and walk towards the wall, believing that I'm going to end somewhere else.
Did we lose Richard again?
I think we did.
Okay. So you're gonna leave the room and shut the door. How long are you gonna wait?
I will wait 10 seconds, And then I will reopen the door and walk in, and as I get close to the wall, I'll go right wherever Daisy was, I will close my eyes and try and blank out any thought.
Roll me an intelligence saving throw, please.
I, oddly enough, rolled a 3, so that's a 6.
Okay. And you're going right where Daisy was, and you're just closing your eyes?
Closing my eyes, just walk into the wall.
You hit the wall.
I am so tired of being defeated by wall.
You see on the ground where it says, come through, they're like underlining. Come through.
Damn it. Why are you waiting?
I failed, I succeeded, and I still can't get through this stupid frickin' wall. Have I noticed anything different from what I've been trying to do, what anyone else has tried to do? Because I don't think I've done anything different. Whether I've succeeded or failed on the intelligence checks.
It doesn't seem to you that you're doing anything different. But for some reason, you just keep hitting the wall.
Yeah, because my eidetic memory would probably tell me if I did something different.
Mm-hmm. Now, one thing is, you do keep trying to go through exactly where someone else went through. You haven't tried to blaze your own trail, so to speak.
Oh. How long would it take me to realize that?
I mean, with your eidetic memory, and you all have been in here for like an hour trying out everything, probably not very long.
And here's the question, has every single entity that's gone through that I've seen been through a different point?
It's hard.
Horses included.
It's hard to say because you didn't start paying attention to that until after you all went out and you came back and you brought the horses and everything with you. So it's kind of the room was pretty crowded for a while. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, yeah. Then I guess, to be fair, I will sit down and meditate for a little bit before I'll decide to go back out of the room and come back in and try a different location from where everyone else went through. But I figured it's probably fair that I not do it right away.
Okay.
Ooh. Well, the intelligence check will have been I've rolled a 1.
Maul, are you back? I see it's green, but we can't hear anything you're saying. So, technical difficulties are the bane of online gaming. So, Rekmit, you come back in, you rolled a 1, you say?
Yep. Trying to undo my damage on this map here.
It's almost... Oh, here.
Trying to say I was going to the right side there.
Here, let me...
It's not letting me... Okay, I got it. Hang on, I got it. There we go.
There you go. So, oops. When you walk back into the room this time, it seems like something has ever so slightly shifted. And when you see the mural and you see the sort of breeze going through the trees, you actually also feel the breeze. It's like you're standing on the landscape, except the well is still there, so you know that you're still in the room.
Well, then I will try to just walk over this portion where I don't think anyone else has gone through and walk through the wall into the mural.
You walk through. You find yourself standing in front of a tent that has the front of it flapping, and you hear people talking over on the other side of the tent through a couple of trees. It's a little stand of trees.
I drop down to the ground on my stomach and go, I don't like this.
How long is it going to take that stupid dwarf to get through, Elgar?
Hours. Even the mule figured it out.
All he had to do was say he believed.
Maybe we should have said Odin believes in you. Or the Allfather.
I was going to say, if you say Odin, that might freak Reckmit out.
It's fine.
Hello.
Right, we can hear you.
We
Welcome
can
back.
actually hear you. Woohoo!
Okay, let's try this. I don't know what's going on tonight.
All right. Yeah, it happens. So you are now in the room alone because Reckmit just disappeared.
You will have seen Reckmit.
We got horses there, mules there. What's with me? Anything?
You'll have seen.
One horse.
Yeah, I think there's.
You'll have seen. Daisy would have gone through. Reckmit tried to go through, bounced off the wall, went out of the room, came back in frustrated, meditated for a little while, and then went off to a space that looks like nobody went through and disappeared.
Yeah, I put an orange X there.
You also see writing on the mural that says
on the ground. Yeah,
all kinds of stuff.
It says, I'm here, and then it says in a slightly different area, Mall with a plus sign, and then Reckmit below that, and then Believe right below that. And then in a different spot, in a different spot it says, Come through, and it looks like they've tried to underline that several times. And then Pretend It's Real is the last thing that was written.
Okay, well, I will walk over and now the last horse I will bring over with me, but I will actually, yeah, I will kind of bring it over and shoo it through.
Okay.
Let it graze through. That's what happens. Not right where he went through, but to the right of it.
So you're gonna hit it on the haunch and see if it'll run through?
Well, or just lead it over that direction and let it down so the other ones have grazed through. So maybe the same thing will happen to this one.
When you hit it on the haunch, it starts. I mean, you're not trying to abuse it, but it startles forward and it goes right through the mural.
Okay, then I'm gonna
for the
go
rest of
over...
you, a horse runs into existence, kind of right in front of you. You might have to get out of the way.
When the horse comes through, can we identify exactly the point that it comes through at? Then inspect that point, walk around it, see if there's any energy or feeling there?
Sure, you can do that. I mean, you can get an approximation of where it kind of apparated into existence. Because from your point of view, it just suddenly was there, right? It's not like it was off in the distance and it now is running at you and towards you. It suddenly is there and it's moving relatively fast because you're all standing still. But yes, you can check that out. Maul, what are you doing? Now you're in the room alone.
Okay. Yep, I'm going to step over a bit and shuffle up to the wall and see what happens.
Shuffle up to it. Okay, you're now standing in front of the wall.
I mean, I'm just going to keep walking until it stops me or lets me through.
Okay. Finally, Maul steps through the mural.
Identify exactly where Maul's standing when he comes through and mark that spot on the ground.
Sure, you can do that. So, Maul, you are now reunited with all of the horses and with everyone except Rekmit, who has not made himself or his presence known to everyone else. He sort of went to a different spot.
Might still be wandering around with his eyes closed.
Where's Rick?
Listen to all the disparaging comments.
Oh, he went through before me. He went through about maybe 6 feet to the left of me.
He could be in another town. I don't know. We left him with you. You're supposed to come through together.
Well, that's not how it worked out.
Now that we're all through, should we take a little break, Samuel?
Yeah, let's take a little break. Just like 5 or 6 minutes max, because we need to get back to this, because Grimble has been waiting here listening to everybody trying to make through for the whole time. So I'm going to send us over to the break screen. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. All right, and we are back from our brief break. Thank you for sticking around with us. And so let's figure out what everybody is going to do now. So you all now find yourselves. I'm assuming that Rekmid eventually showed himself, or at least everyone started going back to the tents and found him.
Maybe I'm going to be like really careful because I'm all alone. But eventually, I suppose if I know it's all of them, I will show myself.
But I see Zeno here. Who else is here?
Elgar's right over there. Grimble's alive.
Grimble is here. Grimble kind of embraces you all as you come through. It's like, what took you so long?
All wouldn't let us through.
All right, so I am assuming that you are all going to want to take a nap. Everybody going to take a break?
Now we are all together, and it is nighttime, right?
It is, yes. The sun is down. So the question is, you're going to set a watch, and if so, who is going to take first watch?
So
We did discuss something about doing some healing before we went to bed.
Yes.
That's true. How much healing do we need? Who is injured?
I could use some.
Grimble is... Oh, well, Grimble's at his home. He's at 3 hit points. He's good, man.
3 of 4?
No, 3 of 3.
He's fully healed. Good as new.
Yeah. Man, he's doing really good.
So I can do 2 more Cure Light Wounds.
Okay. I'm 4.
I'm sorry, you are garbled. What was that?
I'm down 4.
I heal you for 6. I see your 4 and raise you to 6.
Be careful saying
Save those two for later.
Be careful saying you raised him.
Ooh. Keep it down for me.
Anyone else need healing?
That was good.
Okay.
Was Bert injured? I mean,
Don't remember.
I do not know, to be perfectly honest. I mean, he's not going to be here next week either, so we're kind of pretending like he's he's holding down the fort. But when he comes back, we can actually retcon a healing and presume that Elgar did it tonight,
Right.
and not worry too much about it. Okay, so what's your watch order?
So about what time is it? Roughly?
It is probably what we would call like 8:30 p.m., something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And who we got? We have... So we got a couple of dwarves, a thing, a human, and an elf. Okay. So we can pretty much... We could do 3 hour watches.
I'll take the first watch.
I'll take the second one.
So...
Rekmid throw out one of those watch stones?
Yeah, forgot about it.
What are you doing?
Rekmid, do you have those watch ruins or whatever?
Not a watch rune or a watch stone, but I can do something.
Please
Zeno
do something.
Zeno will take the last watch just to get up early.
Okay, so Zeno's going to take the last watch. Elgar, you're not sure you trust Maul.
So Reckman will take the first watch with Elgar.
Yeah.
Remember, Maul has that that broadsword
Mhm.
that you
Yep.
all found. Or found. The skeletons were chipping it out of the malachite in the...
Elgar doesn't have any, he doesn't know anything about that.
Weren't you alone with him
He
at
wasn't
one
with
point?
us.
Oh,
No, that was
was that Jake?
Jake.
Oh, never mind
Hey.
then.
Don't worry. During my watch with Elgar, I'll discuss it with him.
So Reckmit and Elgar are taking first watch. Is that what I'm hearing?
Mm-hmm.
Who's got second watch? You broke up. Say that again.
Grimble has second watch.
Grimble, maybe with Bert.
Yeah.
Okay, and then third watch is going to be Zeno and Maul.
Works for me.
And Reckman will put the echo, but he'll put it on himself. It's not a good idea, but that's what's going to happen.
Okay. Let me look something up here real quick.
You're looking that up. During Xeno's watch, he's going to write on the ground, Xeno was here, thinking that it'll appear in the mural on the other side. Any other people that stumble by?
Okay. Okay, so... Alright, so the night passes without incident, although the animals in this part of the forest, wherever you are, presuming you're still on Kolisnatar Island, which is, you are thinking that because remember the forests give you the impression and the hills give you the impression that they're very similar to what you find all over the island. You just have never been to the particular spot that you're at right now. But the wildlife is very different. The sounds, there's different sorts of birds, and it's very active. And, you know, around Indolophin, there was so much going on with the goblins and everything that largely the wildlife wasn't as obviously active. It was much more secretive and sort of wary of individuals, and it sort of hid much quicker and fled much quicker. Whereas around here where you're at, there's all sorts of noise and creatures moving around and night birds singing and stuff like that. So it is a very different sort of environment in a way. But the night passes without incident. So what would you like to do in the morning?
Take it away, Grimble.
I think we get up, have some food, and head towards the city. We have all our horses and Daisy right now.
You do, yes.
Now,
So,
when you say the animals are different,
Mm-hmm. Just their activity levels.
activity levels.
Mhm.
Okay, it's not different groups of animals.
Correct. It's
activity.
things that
Okay.
that would be familiar to you, but in the Indolofen region, in the southern part of the island, because of all of the goblin incursions and all of that stuff, the animals have been
Okay.
much less obvious about their behaviors. Here, that is not the case.
Good.
All right. So, what is everybody trying to do then?
Mount the horse and walk towards the city.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Let's get mounted up and head for the city.
Take care of the horse and head out.
Okay. You estimate as you start traveling that the city is probably a 2-day walk away from you.
Okay.
Okay.
There are probably several small towns in between, just because you know that, when there's a large city, it's not like it's a blasted wasteland between. There are going to be villages and little farming enclaves and, all that sort of thing.
Is there a road that leads there that we can see, or are we just basically in the middle of the forest at this point? And
Right now, you're kind of in a little hilly forested area, but you can actually see that some things that look like they might be sort of either well-trod paths or even light roads. You do not see a major road
okay,
at
Okay.
this point.
Let's head for one of those.
yeah,
Grimble, before we
It's going to
leave,
take us 2 days to get there.
found
Yeah,
a
we-
chest. Was there anything inside?
I don't remember what was in there. There was stuff. I know that there was gold.
Yeah, so
Bert found it.
Seems
Yeah.
very strange. A chest of gold would just be left here.
I can tell you what was in it, but I
Well, you don't have to take any of it if you don't want to.
don't remember if Bert buried the whole thing or because he decided he couldn't carry it all. Right, he was going to try to go
Buried the chest. I'm sorry if we buried stuff in it or not.
Yeah. So I would say I would make the call that when you all got there, I don't think he would leave it all buried. I think he would probably be okay with unburying
Yeah.
it. I don't know. He is a thief, so
Already got what he wanted out of there. I think only the gold was left in it by the time he was done.
I'm wondering if we make it back to the dwarven ruins and paint a treasure hoard on the painting, will it appear? And we paint it here.
So do you want to dig up the chest and you want me to tell you what's in it?
Well, it was there before.
So there's a bunch of gold coins, and you can take time to count those. There's about 300 in there. There is a ring that looks like it's made of iron, but it's highly polished, and it has a small shield shape engraved on the underside of it. There is a ring with it's silver, and it has a feather sort of shape to it, like the ring itself has been carved into sort of like a feather, as if it's been a feather that's been molded into a circular shape. There is a battle axe and 2 arrows, and there is a piece of rolled up parchment.
Yeah, I think I used my detect magic. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, but you just woke up, so you can use it.
Yeah, no, I was thinking I wouldn't have done it the day before, but I have just woken up, so...
Yeah.
Done. I will cast detect magic upon anything in the chest.
Everything except the coins reads as magical.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
That's kind of what I thought.
Did Bert take the rings? He didn't take the battle. Pretty sure he didn't take the battle axe.
I think he definitely took the rings.
I think he put
Yeah.
the feather ring on, or he took it with him. I don't know if he took the other one. I don't honestly remember.
Yeah, so we know those are magical. That's fine. We suspect it anyway.
Yeah.
Anybody have any use for a battle axe?
So those of you who saw the king and queen's resting place, and you saw the art in the one pillared room with the king and queen's art on it, you recognize the axe as looking very much like the axe that the king was holding.
Breckman will mention that.
Battle
That's
axe,
very
you guys
similar.
use one?
Say that again. Say that again, Richard. I heard what Robert said, but I didn't.
Said
know what
I
you said.
don't. Said I don't use a battle axe. Does anyone else use one?
I could use a battle axe.
My religion prevents me from using such violent weapons.
Rexford, can you use the battle axe?
Technically, I could, if I could lift it. You'd see him like grab the handle, wedge it on the top, like, like yeah, this doesn't really work really well.
Sure. If he else wants it, then Grimble will pick up the battle axe and give it a little whirl and see if he can do something with it.
Okay. I mean, it's very well weighted, and it seems to have a nice double-edged blade that has maintained its sharpness.
Oh, we'll see what it does whenever.
Whenever. Let's just throw it at some people just to see what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, what is your? Are you gonna have a marching order? What are your plans for descending down this hilly landscape into the valley below?
I mean, do we want to leave the other items in there? Or do we want to?
Well, we have
We haven't even
horses.
looked at the scroll.
Yeah.
Yeah, nobody opened up the scroll yet because
We're paranoid.
yeah.
I'll open up the scroll.
That's right, you weren't there for the black ghost monster.
You immediately recognize that it is a scroll with a sanctuary spell written onto it.
This will help me. Or one of you. Our enemy.
Good.
Be blind to us. One of us.
One of them.
As long as we do not take any hostile actions, there's a good chance that they won't attack us. Or that one person.
Do you guys want a ring? Or an arrow? You got left, right?
The arrows are magical too. Right?
Yeah, I don't use arrows. Rings are nice, but depends on what they do and who they're most useful for.
Oh, what's the ring? Bert's got the ring with the feathers on it.
I think
Don't remember.
that's
Yeah.
what he did. Yeah.
What's the other ring look
I
like?
think so too.
It's made of polished
It's got
iron,
a shield on
and
it.
it has a shield engraved on the underside of it.
So it could be a ring of protection or.
I'll put it on and Tell you if you guys does anything to me. And so Xeno will put on the ring and take point. Just, going with the horses at a normal pace.
Okay. So Zeno's gonna lead. Who's next?
Grimble has got a little wiser and will maybe be in, like, third behind or the second rank if you're going 2x2.
Okay, so yeah, 2x2 is probably a good idea. Who's going to be next to Zeno?
Reckman will be in the middle, however that works out.
And I don't care where they want me. I can be in the front. I can be in the back. I can be in the middle.
I'll be in the front with. Oh wait, I'll be in the rear.
Okay, so Elgar's in the third rank. Zeno's in the first rank. Who's going to be back in the back with Elgar? Grimble?
Drop back there.
Gar and Maul, and then Xeno and Bert up front.
Which leaves Reckmit and Grimble in the middle.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Okay.
At least I can heal them that way.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, is the weather looking like the season that we expect it to?
Yes.
Frostig 20 maybe, or
Yep.
21?
Right now it's Frostig 20, and that is very much a sort of late September type of weather pattern. And it definitely is shaping up to be a sort of partly cloudy, very temperate day, not too extremely hot, a little tiny bit humid. No rain on the horizon, it doesn't look like.
I don't think we've traveled in time, friends. That's one thing we can count our blessings for.
I think it may just be...
Or we haven't traveled in season. We'll find out when we get somewhere.
Are we in the same season?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't feel different to you. It feels like the same. You don't feel as if time has passed oddly or anything like that.
Now that we have gold, I suggest we... it's going to take us 2 days to get to the city. Here's their towns and villages.
Is there a what?
Say we find a place to... This evening, let's find some place an inn to put up in.
And we have like... Right, so we have basically 50 gold each, right? 7,300, because there's 6 of us.
So, keeping a wary eye on the trail ahead, I'm going to be looking out for any signs of civilization. And then maybe the first farmer or, I don't know, traveling merchant or whoever we come across, see if we can strike up a conversation and figure out where we are.
Okay. So you, as you start descending down the sort of hilly area that you're in, you see the valley below you. There are a couple of villages, and then the city is farther off. And there is a small lake. So you were looking for a major road. There is a small lake, and to the north of that lake is what looks to be a sort of more well-maintained, larger road that appears to go off in the distance to the city. It looks to be about several hours from you, so you can go in that direction, sort of use the lake to keep your bearings, because the lake is big enough for you to see it. You know, basically, in wherever you are, you can kind of find the lake. It's not enormous. It's not like one of the Great Lakes. It doesn't look like an ocean, right? But it's a relatively large lake.
Right.
So Zeno and, well, Bert's not here. So how about Grimble give me a wisdom check, please.
Yeah, that's a natural one. So Brimble is
He's too busy
like,
talking to Rexman.
exactly. They're discussing the dwarven stuff that they saw.
We're discussing those interesting scrolls we found.
Yep.
So the checks are plus your level 2, right?
Correct.
15 on the dice equals 18 total, prime.
Okay. So Zeno, there's been a couple of times in the past maybe hour and a half when you've heard a sound that sounds like something is following you. As in you as in the group. Like, just occasionally you'll stop to get your bearings, right, and look over, and you're all not traveling super bunched up. You're a few feet away from each other, but as you stop and you look, occasionally you catch the sound of something sort of closer than maybe is comfortable, and it sounds large, and it makes sort of you hear like a slight snorting noise a little bit.
Thinking that it's animal in nature, I'm going to let the rest of the party know. I think something's stalking us. I hear a snorting sound. You guys hear that? Behind us. On your guard, Maul.
And you're
Want
gonna
to
keep
ride faster or set up some type of trap for it?
Would think try to trap it.
Should we maybe 2 of us break off, circle back around, and 4 of us will continue on the same way?
You can do that. Which 2 of you are gonna circle back?
I'm just giving up ideas to the group. What do you guys think?
Well,
That sounds fine. Or just have 2 of us drop down and get in an ambush position and let it walk past us.
So what's really around us that we could hide at?
So you're in a I'm just looking for a blank page here. Here we go. You're in you're coming down off of a hill, but it's not just a direct line down. It's more like a couple of switchbacks. There's lots of rocks, large rocky outcroppings. There are several copses of trees. In fact, most of this area is very very vegetated in terms of having trees and some bushes and whatnot. So there's plenty of things to hide behind if you want to hide. But there's no sort of man-made structures. It's all a natural environment. It's a very wooded hillside. So if you want to try to find something to hide behind, you certainly could.
All right, so what do you guys think about picking up the pace into a small little gallop, going over the crest of a hill, and then as soon as we get down, 2 of you break off into ambush positions, and we take the horses and continue forward at a slower pace?
Works for me.
Good, that works.
Taking those forces forward.
All right, so that's what we'll do, Samuel.
So you're gonna crest a hill.
Crest the hill, and then who is gonna do the ambush? Ranged attackers.
Tell them to do it.
So maybe, yeah, Grimble is having to do that.
Grimble and Maul are going to take up ambush positions behind trees or rocks or whatever. We're going to take their horses and then slow our pace and continue down the path that we're heading.
Okay, so all 6 of you on your horses, plus Daisy the mule, you're going to crest a hill. When you get to the top of the hill, you're going to... 2 of you are quickly going to break off. The 2 are Grimble and Maul, to sort of go to the side so you can ambush whatever's coming through following. The other 4 of you are going to take their horses, plus Daisy, and sort of go ahead a little bit quicker, and then what? Are you going to keep going, or what's your...
We're going to keep going, but we're going to slow our pace to maybe a very slow walk, hoping the thing can catch up with us. Then why don't we send Elgar with their 2 horses flanking around in a circle to come up behind them. Okay. So they're not left in that position without transportation.
Okay.
So if I draw it on Owlbear.
Yeah, draw it on this blank page here.
And what's the signal for Elgar to come back with the horses?
As soon as we crest the hill, you're going to take off at a gallop with their 2 horses.
Yeah.
So if here's the hill, we're going to get over the top of it, and then Trimble is going to be on one side. Whoops, that's a little big, but then Maul is... if you guys engage it as it comes up to us, you're going to get slaughtered because you're going to be 2 on foot. So if Elgar is circling back at a gallop to come up behind it, we continue on at a very slow pace, try to attract it, and that's the plan.
Okay, is everybody in agreement with that?
Sure.
So the red line is Elgar circling back to be behind whatever it is that's tracking you, and Grimble and Maul are the 2 gray dots. So you're going to have like a pincer movement, and everybody else is going up front, but they're kind of slowing down and waiting, and if they need to rush back, they can do so.
Right, going at a very slow pace.
Okay.
Trying to get caught up too.
Okay, so you go through, and your plan, you put yourselves in position, so Grimble and Maul are kind of on the downside of that hill on either side, maybe hiding behind some rocks or something, waiting for the creatures to come through. Elgar is starting to circle back, and coming behind the group, walking almost in between Grimble and Maul, what you see is, I will post it here on, I put it in Discord for you, and I will post it for the audience. There it is for the audience, except it looks in this picture like a, like a little boar, and it's got some tusks and whatnot. But here's the thing. It's 6 feet at the shoulder. And there are 3 of them. So one of them is leading, and it's sort of got its nose down to the ground, and it's basically following, you assume, the scent trail. And that's why occasionally you hear the little sort of snorting sound. Because the one in front, so there's one in front and there's 2 slightly behind it. The one in front is sort of sniffing around and looking for the scent trail. And as it comes into this area here, it gets about right here. It's about to go exactly in between Elgar and Maul, Grimble and Maul. And the thing is that it smells you and stops. So there's one standing there, and it's kind of, now it's putting its snout in the air, and it's sort of, and here's the other 2, right? it's sort of sniffing the air to try to figure out, what happened to its prey.
Visually, it can still see us, the group ahead, though, right?
So maybe, I mean, it is very large, so you're assuming yes, but remember, it was following the scent trail. So now it can tell that some of its quarry has split off.
Disappeared, yeah. From view.
You can't tell if it can actually, I mean, you're not sure how good its eyesight is. You don't really know if it can see you, in fact. But definitely Grimble and Maul see the front one sort of pick its snout up from the ground and start sniffing the air, and it's kind of going back and forth. So it's pretty obvious that it knows from scent that you have changed positions from what it thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, suspecting that something was following us and we slowed down, do we see these three creatures crest the hill over the back of our shoulder?
Yeah, I mean, if you're starting to slow down and kind of peek back behind you, definitely, because they're huge.
They're huge as a horse?
6 foot at the shoulder.
Yeah, but they're horse size.
I think that's even bigger than a horse.
Yeah, it's bigger than a horse.
Seeing how large the creatures are, and knowing that our friends are standing there on foot, and seeing them pause, sniffing the air, I am going to wheel my horse around and shout, "Ah, come, beast! The feast is here!"
I thought I had your horses.
You have their horses. You have Grimble and Maul's horse. You're circling around to bring it back to him. Well, I will draw attention. Look, a little thief named Bert. Come eat him.
Nice plump halfling.
I'm gonna say I take Bert and Daisy and my horse and walk to the side out of the way.
So
Dangle.
I'm going to be making all kinds of ruckus trying to get their attention.
So tell me about how far ahead of these things you are when you stopped and started yelling.
I mean, we know we got 2 people on the ground. We were waiting for something to come up. And we slowed to just a little walk.
Mm-hmm.
So depending upon how long they took, maybe 50 yards away.
50 yards, so 150 feet, 160 feet.
Did they come up like over the hill almost immediately after us, or?
I mean, it was a few seconds. It wasn't a terribly long time, but it was long enough for Grimble and Maul to, get off their horses, give the horses to Elgar, hide. Everybody else went forward. I mean, it was a couple of minutes, right?
Yes. So maybe by that time, 50, 60 yards would probably be as far as we got.
Yeah, so like 180 feet. That's still pretty far away. So you can tell... You could tell that it hears you. And it takes a couple of steps forward, but it's still like it's pausing.
I will begin to ride back. Continuing to make a lot of noise.
Okay. How close
Got
are you?
my bow ready.
Yeah, we were already decided that we were doing ranged weapons, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
at least initially.
Yeah, Grimble and
I
Maul
just
were
wanted to
going to
make sure.
shoot it as it went by, but at that time you didn't know how big it was or that there were three
Right.
of them.
So knowing where my friends are, I'm gonna ride up as close as I can need to, get their attention, and then try to wheel the horse and get them to chase me this way.
Okay. How close are you going to get before you turn around?
Let's say 20 yards should be sufficient. 20 yards away.
Okay. When you turn around and you're still making a crap ton of noise, the front one starts chasing after you. And it's doing it as in, like, it's charging you. So it's picking up speed, and it's going to go really fast comparatively. I mean, you haven't seen it move quickly before. The other two are also behind it, but they don't have, like, their heads down in a charge or anything like that.
But they're running after him.
They are now going to start running after him. So are you going to shoot at them?
As they go past, once they're a little way past, I'll shoot.
Yeah.
Okay, are you going to
The
shoot
one in the back, I'll shoot.
at the front one, or?
Yeah.
The one in the rear.
I was going to shoot the front. The one that's charging, I was going to shoot the one that's charging.
Okay, so here's
Do you need icons,
one.
Sam?
I'm throwing a couple of boar icons on here. These
No.
things are bigger though, so they're more like this. Now I don't remember. I'm not. This is more. I'm not so concerned about the map being absolutely accurate. That's why I keep asking Zeno specifically, like how close he wants to get and whatnot, because I don't really care about the distance so much. But these things are faster maybe than you thought they were. But we'll have the icons here so that you can tell, like, this will be number 1, this will be number 2, this will be number 3. That way, as we're talking, you can actually say. So Maul and Grimble are going to get a couple of shots off. Which one are you shooting at?
I'm shooting at number 3.
Okay.
And I'm shooting at number 1.
Okay. Go ahead and give me those attack rolls.
So close to 19. But no.
13.
That'll be a grand total of 5.
Both of those miss. So let's roll initiative. Actually, Elgar is probably in a position where he could get something done as well this turn during this sort of surprise round. So does Elgar want to do something or just hold back and wait?
It would have to depend. I'm not trying to be technical, but it would have to be dependent on the range for me to do a spell.
You could, because of the fact that Zeno was taunting them, sort of. Their attention was on him, so you could probably get as close as you need to get to do whatever you want to do.
Okay. And I'll let you determine how many would be impacted, but I would throw a sound burst from a distance of about 50 feet, unless that would be too close. And it's a 20-foot diameter circle.
Okay.
So with them moving and everything, I'll let you determine that. But they would take a D8 points of damage and a successful wisdom saving throw to avoid being stunned for 1 round.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a D8.
Yep. 7 points.
Ouch. Okay. All right, and then what do they have to do? Roll what?
A wisdom save,
Okay.
or be stunned for 1 round. And I'm a first level caster.
Okay. Fail. 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 They all three failed. So they're
Okay.
stunned.
So would they wipe out? Like, I'm just asking, like, will they tumble forward or just come to a halt?
Does it...
You know,
well, so basically what's going to happen is, so imagine it this way: Xeno was making noise, and number one, the first boar creature, sort of heard it, but you couldn't tell if they saw it or if they were too wary or what was going on. Eventually, when Xeno moved up, he got close enough that they lost their preoccupation with the different odors on either side, that they knew something was there, but, Xeno's activity got their attention. They were starting to go forward right when you cast the spell. So basically, as they started to sort of charge through, they might have moved 5 or 10 feet, but you were behind them casting the spell, and they stop running so fast, and they kind of slow down and stop over a couple of seconds, and now they're just kind of standing there not really responding to anything. And so that's at the point where the stun actually starts.
cool.
So they're stunned this round, which means we don't really need to roll initiative because they're stunned, so they're not going to act anyway. So everybody gets an action, and then we'll roll initiative for the second round, because they're stunned only for one round, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Rimble will pull out the battle axe and go and talk number 3.
Okay.
That is a 16 on the die. 15 on the die? 16 on the die. Plus 2 is 18, plus whatever the axe gives me.
Okay, that hits.
And it's a battle axe. I'm assuming it's a standard battle axe, or a D8.
Yes, plus 1.
So that is 7 plus 2 plus 1, so 10. 10 points of damage on number 3.
Okay. Now, you're proficient with the battle axe?
I can use any weapon.
Okay. All right. Anything else you'd like to do or can do? That's pretty much it. I mean,
pretty much it.
They're stunned, so technically, well, you already did sort of your half movement, so technically you can't move anymore.
Right.
Okay, who's next?
Well, I'll move up to number 3 if it's still standing.
It is.
I will, on the way, pull out my sword and take a swing at it.
Okay.
And that will be a 16.
That hits.
And that would be for 11 points of damage.
Okay. That is going to kill it.
Thank goodness for that. I'm getting worried then.
What were you hitting it with? The sword?
Yep, I hit it with the sword, my bastard sword.
Okay.
7, 10. That's like 28 points of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You basically decapitated it.
So they had at least 17 points. It's technically 18.
Yeah.
Let's see. Rekmit, Xeno, Elgar.
Oh, I'm not sure how much movement I have. I was already kind of booking down the other way.
Yeah, you're on
If
a horse,
possible.
right?
Right.
Yeah, so
Would like to see my friends engage in melee, looking over my shoulder. I know they're going to need assistance because they're on the ground. I would like to wheel my horse. My horse's name is Socks.
okay.
He's got little white parts on the bottom of his feet. I would like to wheel Socks around and begin heading back toward number 1.
Okay.
Would I be able to make it there and jump off and do something? Or
So, are you running that horse at like a full gallop? Because if so, yes. If not, you probably will just barely make it there.
I'm running the horse at a full gallop because I know they're going to need help.
Okay. And then you're going to jump off at the end?
maybe not jump off, but you know how the old West guys would kind of their feet to the side, and then the horse would keep going, and they would kind of land on the ground running.
Yeah, I saw
That's what I'm.
Jake did something really cool with a horse one time. Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
I didn't remember him falling into a hole on
You
his
should
head.
lower your lance and stab it like a knife.
I'm not envisioning diving off like Jake, but hopefully landing on my feet.
Yeah. So roll me a dexterity check.
Oh, your feet catch, you tumble.
Get drug along the
Come in,
door.
come in like a
Is-
bulldogger and grab that thing by the mouth and bend that head back
16.
and throw it to the ground.
16 on the dice plus 3 is 19 prime.
Ooh, no.
How tall is Zeno?
Zeno is 5'10". 5'10", 171 pounds.
Do you want to land on the ground or do you want to land on the beast?
I mean, if we're talking cinematic here and you're going to allow it, I would like to land in front of the beast and with the momentum slide underneath it on my knees and stunning strike from under it. I mean, if you're asking me what I want to do,
Okay, go ahead and make your attack.
so knowing that there's a pressure point in the chest of every creature, I slide on my knees from the momentum of the horse and use my open palm strike and roll a 2. So that's going to be a horrible miss.
You thought
You're like, whoa, this is really big.
you thought you were gonna stunning strike up, and really you were sliding so fast you kind of said, "Oh crap!" and you reached up and just grabbed onto its fur to stop yourself from sliding right back behind to its ass. So now you're under the thing, but your attack did not have any effect.
Understood.
Knees are feeling a little ripped up, but you know.
Elgar and Rekmit.
Recommend seeing Zito slide under this thing goes, yeah, Daisy and I are going to turn off to the right. I will take Daisy's reins, tie him up upon Persimmon, my pony's little pommel, and I'll get off my pony and pick up a rock to try and inscribe next round.
All right. Elgar, anything this round?
Would I have possible movement to ride over there and hit the creature from behind?
Yeah, it's a full round. So
Okay.
when you did the spell, that was a surprise round. So
All right. I roll an 11 to hit.
that is gonna miss.
Well, it's not really a miss because I see Zeno underneath this thing and decide not to kill it.
Oh, is that what it is? Yeah, you pulled your punch right at the last moment because that would
Like,
be really
It
bad.
would kill
right?
him.
Yes.
It's 6 foot tall, this creature. My gosh.
You don't spill the blood and guts all over.
Although maybe I would have hit with a +2 to hit from the rear,
No.
making it a 13.
No.
or
Still,
no?
Still would not have hit.
No, these are unfortunately.
Yeah, these are pretty nasty creatures. Okay, so initiative. That's a D10. Someone has to roll it. Ooh.
You know whose turn is it?
I got a 10.
I also got a 10. We have to re-roll.
But only 10 I'll ever get. Because now I got a 1, I believe. Oh no, wait, hang on. I'm sorry. I love these dice, but the numbers are really hard. I believe that is a 1.
7. So they snap out of their reverie. And so the one that is The one that has Rekmit below it is going to try to kind of back up and then like headbutt Rekmit.
You mean Zeno?
I mean Zeno, sorry.
Yep.
Um,
Is he prone and such?
he is. And I rolled a 20 on the die.
Matt has nothing to say about that. Nothing at all.
Very glad you corrected that to Nappy Reckmit.
He's not prone. He's on his knees. Just let the CK do his work there, George.
Doesn't matter.
I'm sure that's better.
So Zeno, you take 7 points of damage as this thing tries to gore into you with its tusks. The other two are going to actually the
number
other
three
one,
is dead.
Number 3 is dead. Yes, let's fix that. This one is totally dead. Just put some. That one's the dead one. The other one is a little bit freaked out, and it is going to actually start to move away. So unless there's someone behind it, I don't know if Elgar is behind that one or not. It is going to start to sort of it's kind of backing up tentatively, and when it clears the distance so that it's not around anyone, it's going to try to run away. So unless someone stops it, it will run away. And then that means it is everyone else's turn.
Okay.
Provided you can try to stop it if you want to, but because remember this is simultaneous, so.
Yeah.
So Zeno, having just been gored by this boar-like creature, will grab it by its 2 front tusks, attempt to twist its head in a grappling lock to give it a stationary position for his friends to come up and kill it.
Okay, so you're going to make your grappling roll, which is a strength check.
It is 9 plus 1 plus 2 plus 2. 9 plus 5 is 14 secondary.
So they are. Yeah, this thing is too strong and large for you to be able to grab on and hold it.
It's too big. I need help.
Step up with his.
Yeah, the other problem is that
and...
they're much larger than you, so.
PG, must strain myself.
Maul, what were you doing?
I'm going to move over around behind it.
Okay.
And take a swing. And I miss.
All right. Rekmit, Elgar, Grimble.
That'd be 8.
Grimble swings with it with the battle axe and that is a 11 on the die, so 14.
That is going to miss.
Yeah.
Rekmit, Elgar.
Go, Elgar, go.
Elgar is going to attempt to soundburst number 2. Unless he is out of range. I would try to move up, though, to him. Well, I can't really move.
Yeah, so it's simultaneous. You can actually do that, and if it succeeds on its check, it will not be stunned and it'll get to run away.
Yep. Okay. I will do 8 points of damage to it.
Okay. All right. It ends up getting stunned, so it is still in this vicinity now. because you stunned it. So it's going to be stunned for next round as well.
If it was that close, would the sound burst have hit the other one as well?
So not unless you also want it to hit you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was being nice.
Instead of running away, he got
basically it started to run away and then he hit it with it. So he was sort of facing it in that other direction. So if you want him to try to hit the first one, then it's going to hit you as well. So
probably me, which would not be good because I'd be dead.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Rekmit.
So 3's down, 2 is stunned, and 1 is having fun with people?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it enjoyed the belly rub that it got. So
that's a generous way to describe it. It looked different from my viewpoint. Ooh. I roll a natural 20 to go after the stunned one because I don't want to throw it into combat.
Okay.
And that's a 3 points of damage.
Okay.
And instead of doing any kind of lure or anything, I figured, well, they got it covered.
Yep.
Is that double damage or?
I don't know in this game anymore. I can't remember.
You mean because it's stunned?
So.
Stunned and I rolled a 20, but...
Oh. Yeah, so I don't use critical hits at all.
Yeah.
That works good. It's a 3.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do anything when I'm using melee or martial arts. This is a great boon.
Yeah. So roll initiative.
I lost the last one.
It's going to be Richard's turn.
Okay. I got a 7.
I got a 5. That means you all get to go first.
Well, it's still being right in front of this big nasty one.
What did you roll?
Got a 23.
Ooh, that hits. You're attacking number 1?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh crap. 4 points of damage.
How much?
4.
Okay. All right.
Zeno has realized error of his ways and that this beast is too big to be trifled with. So he is going to try to punch it directly in the throat.
Okay.
No, that's going to be a miss. Only a 5.
Yeah, that misses. Are you going to try to move out of the way?
Does it get a free attack if I do?
It could. Depends on...
I will...
because right now you're under it, so if somebody else kills it, it's going to collapse on you.
I thought it backed up to gore me with its tusks.
Yeah, but you're under its neck because you just punched up at its neck. So if they kill it, remember, it's 6 feet at the haunch, so it's pretty heavy. It's a big boy.
Yeah, I will just back up a foot or two to stay within range of not getting an opportunity attack.
All right. Grimble, Rekmit, Elgar.
Rekmit will take Daisy, Persimmon, and Bert's horse, move a little to the side, and use another stone. That's not going to hit anything because that's an 11.
Okay. Elgar.
So zooming off at a distance against number 2.
You're trying to distract it. Hey, look at this rock.
Yeah, exactly.
Tiny rock. All right. Grimble will take his battle axe, putting at number 1. And I think that's a miss. Yes, that's a miss.
All right. Elgar.
Elgar will attack.
Save the day.
Will attack number 2 again because he's stunned.
Okay.
That is a 19 on the die. That will be... Actually, let me check my weapon here real quick. That's actually a D10. That is 12 points of damage from the bastard sword.
Ouch. That one is now dead as well. Poor thing tried to run away and you went and slaughtered it. Good The other one
Wounded it for you.
The other one is going to attack Xeno again with a headbutt, a goring strike, and a bite. So one of them was a 1.
It doesn't like you,
One
Xeno.
was a 3, and the other one was 21. Not a crit, but that hits, I assume.
21 hits.
Zeno, stop nuzzling with the beast.
3 points of damage.
Remember, remind him you're wearing that ring.
Yeah. Thank you. I am wearing that ring.
Welcome.
Does that do anything? Do I feel any more defensible?
Oh, that is a good question. Let me find out.
We're going to add to your AC, but I don't know how to huge amount.
I'm sure 21 still hits, but
Yeah, 21's still going to hit
Yeah.
you.
maybe it blocks 1 strike per combat or something.
Yeah, who knows?
It's not that special of an item. I hate to say
Damage
it.
reduction +3.
Yeah, right.
Vampiric touch.
Oh, that used to be nasty.
Yes, so it is going to... You feel like you are slightly less hittable by 1. But the 21 still hits you, so you still take the 3 damage. And then we roll initiative one more time for round number 5. Or sorry, round number 4.
Got a 6.
I rolled a 7, so the creature is going to attack Xeno again. 15, does that hit you?
Does.
And then a 10 and a 7.
Those 2 miss.
You take 4 points of damage.
Xeno has multiple broken bones, is bleeding from many places, and is wobbly standing up in front of the creature.
And then it's everyone else's turn.
I got a 19.
That hits.
8 points of damage.
All right. That finally kills it. It collapses down in a heap of blood and sweat. And you are out of combat. How much damage did Xeno take?
I went from 17 to 3, so 14 points.
Yeah.
Okay, Grimble. Oh, wait. Hang on. Who we got? Well, no, Grimble do it. Grimble will come up to you and heal you. Oh, great. Grand total of 3 points.
I'll take it. Thank you.
Do you have any,
This is going on.
Grimble, do you have any other healing?
No, I just have my. Basically, I can do a cure wounds once per day.
Okay.
Are there any farmhouses within sight?
Not of this. No, not where you're at right now.
And
Okay.
what kind of time of day is it?
It's early afternoon. You think you're probably a couple hours from that lake, and there seems to be a village around there, so you could probably make it to that village before, around dinner time or so. Provided you're not strowed too much by Xeno's broken leg and all that stuff. He
what kind of
got
from?
some healing, so.
You can strap him to his horse.
Well,
we'll
I
just
guess
throw him
while
on the
they're
top.
doing that, seeing no other ability, if there's any of this that I could harvest,
Bacon.
taking hours to do,
Bacon.
we'll do.
Yeah, so roll me roll me
Survival?
No, oh yeah, you're a mist elf. Yes, roll me a survival.
stay on the table. It's going to be a 15 non-prime.
So you know that when you're sort of looking at these creatures, you've never interacted with these type of boar before, but you know that they're called Jalnok, and that at least that's what you think, because you've never actually seen them in person, but it's pretty hard to mistake a 6-foot-tall boar with tusks and all that. You also know that their skins, if you skin them well and then you dry out the leather portion of it, that they are a pretty sought after type of leather to make leather boots and whatnot with, because they are very strong. It's a very strong type of leather. So
Okay.
if you want to pull the skin, you can probably gut these things and skin them. Rekmit could probably actually prepare the meat if you all wanted to save some of the meat and try to sell it in town, just because of his farming experience.
Again,
When they gored me, I am going to rip off its tusks and keep those 2 tusks.
Okay. They're huge and heavy.
How huge is huge?
Huge is like
big as my
Rekmit will take one of those and like put it up against it. Yeah, see, that was in you.
they're like 2 feet long and 6 to 8 inches wide at the largest diameter where it's coming out of the mouth.
Well, I've got a hand axe. I've got a hand axe here. You're welcome to take to it.
I got a battle axe you can use that will just slice through.
I think I'll just use these nice little shearing knives that are really good for meat.
So,
well, I don't think the tusks are meat.
So, Maul and Rekmit, roll me a dexterity check.
Be a 9.
Okay.
Or excuse me, that would be a 10 prime.
And Rekmit will roll an 18 non-prime.
Okay. So it's going to take probably 2 hours for you to just skin each one.
2 hours.
Okay.
2 hours each.
One.
I mean, I can get one. If one of them is enough, I mean, if we need to get moving.
Well, we don't need to go anywhere. Actually, I didn't say it, but assuming enough time hasn't passed, I'm going to bandage my waist and my broken ribs. Yeah,
you can use a bandage. That's fine. Before you cut off the tusks, you bandage yourself. So it's your choice. I mean, it's only like early afternoon, so you can spend 2 hours per animal. You'll have an intact skin that could be cured and processed and sold for a nice chunk of change. And
hey, let's take the time.
Yeah,
and spend the night here.
Okay.
Yeah, Rekmit with help from a couple of you could probably also have the meat all processed.
Yeah,
by the time that happens. Yeah.
We're close to civilization. We could spend the night here.
Samuel, is the bandage 1 point or 2? 2 if you roll something?
Yeah, so if you're where'd my notes go? If you're rolling Not that one either. I just had it. Here it is. Bandages. 1d2. If you you can make a make a wisdom check if you're wisdom prime.
I am, and that check is going to be a 7 total.
Okay, so you still only heal 1d2. If you had succeeded on that, you would have healed a third point of damage.
Got it.
Okay, so...
Elgar! Elgar, can't you heal me, my friend? No, you ignored me during the battle. Didn't save me and went for the stunned creature instead when I was screaming for help. Going to forsake me again?
I didn't hear you.
Going to forsake me a second time?
How did you not hear him? He was squealing like a little girl.
You're fine. I can't do it anymore today.
Okay.
So real quickly, you're gonna prep the meat and the skins. Are you then gonna try to make it to town, or are you gonna camp there for the night? I heard somebody say camping because it's only like 1 o'clock. If you spend 6 hours prepping the meat, it'll only be 7 o'clock, and if you're 2 hours from town, you'll still reach town by 9 p.m.
Oh, we can go to the town then. I thought it was later in the afternoon. I thought it was more like 3 o'clock.
Okay. Well, that works too. Then we'll go to town.
I mean, you got up, you left early in the morning, so you had like a full camping night, and then you left early, so it wasn't. It hasn't been that long.
Oh, yep. Then we'll do our stuff, prep the meat, skin the animals, and head to town.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think that's where this session is going to end, with you all coming into town. I can show you a picture of the town. Oops. Let me go to the right channel here. There's a picture of the town in Discord. Let me throw it up here on the channel so everyone else can see it.
Nice map.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Nice.
What do you use to create the map?
I used Incarnate.
Ah, okay.
So there's the map there. You're coming in from the sort of northeastern side. You're coming down where all these cliffs are going to be. So your question is going to be, are you going to come down sort of where you see this sort of castle structure? You're coming down kind of north of that, coming down this hill. So the question is, are you going to stay on this side and just come through this forest area near the castle? Or are you going to try to ford the river and come down into the sort of more normal part of town? It's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that castle keep structure is a fortified defensive building.
Is that like a bluff to the northwest of the castle keep and to the southwest or southeast of it?
Yeah, it's kind of like small cliffs.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, let's go to the forest area.
Is there any kind of bridge further up the river to the north?
There is not. I mean, not close enough that it's worthwhile to go to. There probably is a bridge further up.
But there's a ford just to the north of the town. Right, that's
is there any indication that there's like a trail or something or a ford, and that's where the traffic goes as opposed to down through the forest?
it's hard to tell from the distance that you're at because you're higher up. You could tell that probably nobody crosses the river above that waterfall. They probably cross it down below. But you can also tell that that is a fortified castle-like keep structure, and so, you know, you don't want to, you know, cause a problem with the local militia, is all I was saying. So if you wanted to try to find a place to ford the river up further north, you probably could do so and then come down, or you can just go near the castle. Doesn't really matter.
Let's just go near the castle and, you know.
Okay.
I think that might be a bad idea, sneaking up on their castle through the forest, but...
Well, no,
You're
but
not
we're
sneaking up on their castle through the forest.
Well, to get to the castle, we'd have to go down those bluffs, so we could just stay along the river there, and where the waterfall come down, is open almost like a little lake, and just stay close to that end of that forest, try and get into the town.
exactly.
Instead of trying to go towards the castle and see if we were into the watch.
How
You
deep
can't-
is the river?
You could jump in and find out.
It's
Or-
pretty...
or
He
I
said
can
there's
look.
no fords. He said it looks like everybody crosses in the town at the bridge. There's no
Yeah.
ford. So
yeah, you'd have to look for
gotta-
a ford.
that's gotta be
There's
the
not an
normal-
obvious one.
traffic pattern is not to avoid the castle.
Well, the normal traffic pattern would be you're not coming down from the hills the way that you
Right.
all are.
Well, yeah.
we're coming from the wrong place. Normally people would be on the western side.
We don't know that.
We could just go down, follow the river, go through the lake,
Yeah.
come into town from the
And
east.
if they come ask questions, we'll answer.
Exactly.
I mean, we're not who they are, let alone a threat to them.
I mean, let's face it, there's only 6 of us. It's not like we're a war band, right?
Yeah.
Hey, don't forget Daisy. There's 7.
All right.
Mule.
Well, let's end there.
Well, 6. You forgot Bert. 6.5.
So I included that with Daisy.
Oh, hilarious. Okay, so what's this say? Yeah. All right, so let's end there, and we'll close out this session tonight with you coming into the relatively civilized area, carrying several 100 pounds of meat and 3 very nice skins of the Jolnock. I did not prepare a topic to talk about tonight, so I don't really have a thing that I specifically want to talk about, but is there anything that one of you wants to discuss for a few minutes before we fully sign off?
I'm only going to say that the puzzle of the mural took a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so clearly there was something, and we probably didn't pick up on some clues.
Yeah.
So I don't think our intention was to split the party. I think there was something that we missed on that, and that's maybe something to think about. Is okay, are we doing puzzles? And because that's great. I mean, I played a couple of games where there's actually very little combat, and in fact, the idea is not to get into combat because you will probably die. But there's a lot of puzzles, there's a lot of thinking. And so maybe just how could we make that to the point where we actually can solve the puzzle rather than randomly trying to do stuff?
Yeah, so
I kind of felt we were randomly doing it.
Yeah, so part of the issue was it was split between 2 sessions, because in the first session, it wasn't, well, so let me say this. Possibly if we hadn't skipped 2 weeks because I was on vacation, it might have been easier this time because it would have been fresher in the minds about what was happening. And I think really what happened is just when I gave the description and everything this time, I didn't provide you with anything. I didn't say like, well, Maul and Rekmit, now let me reiterate this, here's what you notice that's slightly different, or, and I should have done that if there was something that was different, because there were a couple of slight differences that occurred that might have been clues. Ultimately, that puzzle thing taking so long is mostly on me because I didn't make it really explicit. I didn't give you enough clues to figure out why you failed, right? Why you failed to go through the thing a lot of the time, right? I was only giving you clues about certain things that actually worked, but I wasn't giving you enough feedback, I think, at least in my opinion, just based on tonight. I wasn't giving you enough feedback about what happens when something doesn't work, why didn't it work, right? I was only trying to give you, like, here, this thing worked, but then now you're like, well, now we have to, like, analyze, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I figure I still don't know why it failed or what it was, but I was having fun role-playing this is just a freaking picture. What the hell's going on?
What's going on, man? It's a dark picture. Yeah,
I will say, I mean, I can understand why Grumble was unhappy, but yeah, it was just a more role play. I mean, we were trying to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime with puzzles, it gets tricky, and it's like I try to run them at times, and sometimes I think, oh, this is going to be so complex, and they walk, oh,
yeah,
that's simple. And sometimes it's like really simple, and you just finally have to, just make it happen because they're not figuring it out. So,
yeah.
Puzzles are hard, but they're fun. I mean, I love, one of the things I love about particularly old school, because you can do that, right? You have the freedom to do the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right, we've had a 2-week break.
Yeah.
Hoppers probably couldn't remember what happened in the previous session anyway, so
yeah.
But the puzzle, so yeah, maybe there's something to learn from that. But the other thing is, throw in puzzles, because the puzzles are fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you'll notice I'm not telling you what the actual answer is. And
no, I know you weren't.
And the reason I'm not telling you is because this is something that's probably going to come up again because remember, Narrheit is a trickster, right? He is the type of god who he's expressing his influence through confusion and making things seem strange to make you feel like something's wrong, right? And then you'll respond by behaving a certain way that's maybe not what you typically would have done, but it's because you've been influenced by whatever he changed, right? And he finds that absolutely hilarious, and sometimes it's very malicious because he wants someone to do something out of their own character, because he thinks that's funny, to force people into a situation where they have to act differently from what they would prefer, right? And sometimes it's not malicious, it's just he thinks it's funny, but he's a god. His idea of what's funny and why is very different. It's sort of like the centipedes, right? He likes manifesting those centipedes that you ran into the first 2 or 3 sessions because they're such weird, creepy, strange creatures. And wouldn't it be funny if not only are they weird and creepy, but they also petrify you, right? They turn you to stone, so that the fear that you experience or the oddness that you experience is now like a permanent feature, right? Because you've been turned to stone. And he finds that hilarious. And it's not hilarious to Immortal. It's frustrating and dangerous and whatever, but he's thinking, oh, I'm taking these followers who think they are, they're following these good gods and they're trying to do these things in the world, and I'm just making their lives more difficult. And I think that's extremely hilarious because he's all about the chaos, right? He just wants to create chaos. And part of that is, let me make you see or experience something that you don't understand. right? And that's kind of where the mural fits in there, is that you're not meant to understand it, right? At least not the first time that you do things. So part of that was me trying to actually make it difficult, but yet solvable without actually telling you mechanically what the solution is. So in that I succeeded, but it took longer for various reasons, right?
Don't disparage my new home.
And that's the thing with puzzles. It's, there's always a balance, and sometimes it doesn't work out, so you kind of have to throw in. But to your point, if it's going to come in, there's similar, or this will come into play in the future, you can't give it away.
Right. Exactly.
And that will just probably make it longer. But keep the puzzles, because the puzzles are fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I like puzzles too, but I do also know that they can be frustrating. So I try to sprinkle them in when it's appropriate, but not too overly much. And in general, my rule is when there's a puzzle there should be clues in the room and within the puzzle itself regarding how to resolve it, right? So partly the puzzle is for the players, right? So this is one of those age-old arguments, right? Do you give a puzzle and a riddle for the players to solve, or do you give it for the PCs to solve? And I try to make it so that there's a little bit of both there, right? Like in the middle of that, Rekmit rolled a skill check, right? He rolled a siege check for trying to figure out, do I remember something being any different from last time, right? Based on his ability of his eidetic memory for his actual PC. So that was a test for the PC, not a test for the player, but there was tests for the players, right? So there's that kind of element to it too, that it's a hard balance to strike there. Gary Gygax used to often have puzzles in his games that were based on, the resolution is based on knowing something about history, or knowing something about like real world history or pop culture, or about a particular celebrity who's doing something weird, at a particular time. And he loved the hell out of that kind of stuff, right? It was a lot of fun. But his players knew that, right? They knew that sometimes the puzzle isn't about what the characters know, it's about what the players know sometimes. And so,
And that's sometimes difficult to bring in, because it kind of breaks the. I know he used to do it a lot, but that kind of breaks the paradigm of we're in game, right? It's that flip.
Right.
Yeah, I've never used that, and I've never been in a game where I ran up against that. I get it. It may be one of those things. If you felt like your players know what they know as individuals, more than they would know what their characters knew and could play, or the rules of the game, or just that. So but yeah, I agree with you. I think it would have an odd feel. If Kiss was the answer to get the door to open,
right.
You're like, wow,
right.
Where does that come from? How does that fit into the?
Yeah, and the problem with that is also there's some element of you don't know that everybody has the same cultural touchstone, right? Like, probably we all know the Hokey Pokey song, right? You do the Hokey Pokey and you turn yourself around, right? So you might be able to make a puzzle based on the Hokey Pokey, but it really depends on your players, and maybe it depends on age, and maybe it depends on the country they grew up in and what schools they went to, and maybe it depends on some other cultural issue. Like, I could never make a puzzle that has, a movie sort of, or like a show. Like, I've never seen the show Leverage. Okay. I know it's a really popular show, but when it was on, I don't watch that much TV, and I don't, whatever. So I've never seen Leverage, but I know that there's a lot of sort of things in Leverage that are really cool heists, and they do certain things, and maybe there's a character, or like what's the show with the guy, Breaking Bad, right? Like, I know there's a lot of Breaking Bad memes, and there's a lot of different characters that have certain aspects about them that are very characterized, so to speak. So you could say, oh yeah, I know a guy like that, or I could see, I understand that reference, right? But if you've never seen that show, Like, I've never seen Leverage or Breaking Bad, right? I just didn't watch those shows. So if somebody is doing a caricature of an NPC as one of the characters on there that I should know, I'm just not going to know it because I never saw the show.
Right.
So you have to be careful with bringing in like those kinds of references. But at the same time, if you can make it easier for the players at the table to figure out a puzzle based on real world knowledge, that's almost like an extra, right? It's almost like an extra. Well, because we knew this, we got to solve this a little bit quicker because we kind of figured it out, or we were able to use kind of knowledge that the PCs maybe wouldn't have, right? But that's a fine line. It's a fine line.
Yeah, but my personal opinion is keep it within the game, right, rather than that world. Because, okay, so I am, I am a transplant. I've been here 20 years, but, all that stuff that people talk about a lot of times is like, it goes over my head because, I did not live here, so
right.
A lot of the shows people talk about, and when you're playing, particularly playing online, where it's not bad at conventions because they tend to generally be more local, not always, but but when you're playing online, I mean, in my game, I have Canadians, Americans, Europeans, Asians, right? So I pretty much cover the world in the game I run. So you can't do that,
right?
Because and it's just over, and different age ranges too, right? So I go from basically 20-year-olds to the rest of us that are like 40s and 50s.
Yeah, yeah. It happens to me when I'm teaching too, because I'll be 48 in a couple weeks, right? And so most of my students are like 18, right? So here's the thing.
Yeah.
I can't make a Family Ties joke, a Cheers joke, or even an early Simpsons joke for these people because they don't get it. Right? And so, it's that sort of thing where, those sort of early 80s, mid 80s things where I was coming of age and was paying attention to television and pop culture and what my friends thought was cool and all that stuff. Like, those things were meaningful to me and I have a good memory, right? But, look, my students weren't even born when 9/11 happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So those, if I say something like the first Desert Storm, right? The first war, they're like, what? There was another one? Like, when did that, what? That, really? They have no, like, for them, that's a different, it's a history blip for them, right? Because they weren't even on the planet when that happened, right?
Yeah.
And I was a teenager, so I was like all about it. Like, I knew everything that was happening. I got my family's over there, and so I know exactly everything, right? And for them, they just don't get it. So it's the same kind of thing, right? Where some of those touchstones, even like you said, based on age, there's just things. I run a 5e game for a couple of teenagers, the kids of one of my coworkers, and some of the things I say, they're just like whoosh, like they just don't. And part of it's age, and part of it's just that they're relatively sheltered. They don't have a lot of the same, RPG experience or like video gaming experience, or they don't go to the movies a lot, they don't watch a lot of TV, so there's a lot of things that even that I have that they don't actually have that as part of their body of knowledge. So those things they fall flat. They just don't, just doesn't work. So
That's okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I still try to remember what my character would know, or whichever character I'm playing at the time, and even though I may figure out myself, try to remember to bring it back in, just like with the eidetic thing.
Yeah.
Like, you popped it up, and it popped in my head what it probably was, but it was like, no, that's me, it's not Reckon. What would Reckon potentially even have the ability to do it?
Yeah.
I don't always succeed at that and keeping that out in the character, but I try to.
Well, and I don't always think about
sometimes
all of your abilities, right? Like all the PC's abilities. Like, I forget, right? Especially if you've leveled up or whatever. Like, I forget, oh yeah.
And we're running 12 different potential characters.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And weird ones that we don't even understand completely yet.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
But
A
but I
way
think
sometimes I've found to kind of reach in and help the party out is to have them take an intelligence or wisdom check, depending on kind of the flavor of it, and then say, "Hey, okay, your character remembers." And it was probably something, and it's something they should have. That was like 4 or 5 games ago. That was a clue.
Mm-hmm.
Remember everything. I mean, if they remember something from 4 or 5 weeks ago and bringing it into play, a lot of times it's easier to remind them. Just say, "Hey, make a roll. Okay, your character remembers that you heard this name 3 weeks ago in this village 20 miles away." Oh, okay. Then it makes a whole lot more sense, and they can start putting stuff together.
yeah, that tends to be the way I do it. It's like, and sometimes, I will even do that to give them an extra clue.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's in character, it's like, because I love puzzles, and I do run puzzles in my game, but again, the way whoever's created the puzzle, so whether it's you, Samuel, or myself, or any of us, right? The brains work differently. What you think is, it's like you're too close to it, so you understand it. You think, it's like you put A, B, and C together, and it's like done.
Right.
But when you're coming in from the outside, you don't do that. And I've learned over the time that, you have to be prepared to give clues.
Mm-hmm.
And nudges, right? Clues and nudges. It's not like you have to give them the answer, because that defeats the object. But you do have to give them some, like, okay, you're going in a totally wrong direction. Just come back and clues.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like, one of the things that I've done several times as a start to a dungeon is the party finds a slab of stone flat on the ground.
Mhm.
Maybe on a bit of a mound or something. Some parties immediately start to dig. Others, they spend sessions and never take a shovel and go in the earth. And
right.
The whole building is there. It's just buried. You're looking at the roof.
Right.
But it's not exactly a tough puzzle. But for some reason, it just doesn't click with some people.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Situation, that moment, that evening, it doesn't work.
Right. Right. Yeah. All right. Well, anything that Matt, George, or Robert want to add to the conversation before we cut out of here?
No, I think it was good.
No, I don't feel like offending anybody else tonight.
Come on.
That's a first. You don't feel like offending somebody?
Oh, I feel like it. I'm just holding back. I'm putting a little filter on. I'm working on making myself a better person.
I think he's aged like 20 years in the last 2 weeks or something. But what are you drinking?
Water, holy water.
Holy water.
I keep it in a special bottle.
That'd be Bushmills to me, but okay, carry on.
Holy water. It's been fermented with some
Recommend special brew from Jake Tildor in Durndale.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we will hop out of here. So everybody say goodbye. Thank you for joining us. Everybody who's still in the Twitch stream, we'll be back next week, same time, same place, and we will see you then.
Thank you,
everyone.
Good night, folks.